limit people's spending power and reduce inflation. Treasurer Jim Chalmers says immediate cost of living relief won't solve the problem.
We know that inflation limits our aspirations. It erodes the purchasing power of take-home pay. It reduces the value of hard-earned savings, threatens the growth prospects of countries like ours, and it eats away at the foundations of opportunity.
Construction of the new Women's and Children's Hospital at Theberton is a step closer. Legislation that expedites the planning and approval processes to knock down the historic police barracks is set to be rubber-stamped after passing the upper house. Premier Peter Malinauskas says it's all systems go.
That now allows us to get on with the task of doing what is necessary to build us a bigger, better Women's and Children's Hospital that sets us up for the next generation.
Reforms to betting ad guidelines have been welcomed by anti-gambling campaigners. Taglines including "chances are you're about to lose" will be placed at the end of ads, which will also need to include advice on how problem gamblers can seek support. Independent Senator Andrew Wilkie says the changes are good, but the federal government needs to go further.
It is technically feasible and at little cost for all of the Australian online gambling companies to be linked in real time. So when an online gambler reaches their daily limit with one of the companies, it would prevent them just swiping to another app and resuming their gambling.
Families staying at Taronga Zoo in Sydney have described the moment they were ushered into safe zones when 5 lions got out of their exhibit. 1 adult and 4 cubs managed to escape, sparking an emergency situation. Marnus Perry was staying in a tent with his wife and children at the Roar and Snore accommodation. He says zoo staff came running, telling them to get out.
My wife was still in bed and she got up, didn't even put her shoes on. So we ran up to like a little house where they have the showers and stuff. They counted us and made sure that everyone was out of the tents, and they locked the doors.
Now turning to 5AA sport, Australian trio Aaron Finch, Marcus Stoinis and Tim David have all trained after suffering varying levels of hamstring injuries in Monday's World Cup win over Ireland. The Aussies face a must-win against Afghanistan on Friday night to keep their 2020 World Cup defence alive. Selector George Bailey says Finch and David were on light duties today, with Stoinis likely to play.
Stoin in particular was just more precautionary, so I think he's certainly good to go. The other two are actually pretty good. I mean, they're moving pretty well out there today.
Meanwhile, Zimbabwe is 8 for 110 in their 17th over, batting first in their group match against the Netherlands at Adelaide Oval. And in Sheffield Shield action, SA are 8 for 271, trailing New South Wales by 118 runs. And Aussie Alex de Minaur takes on Daniel Medvedev tonight in the second round of the Paris Masters. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Croydon Park, there's a crash South Road at Regency Road. Got a left-hand lane blocked at the moment. Beulah Park, urgent electrical works, the parade near Bridge Street. While at Fairview Park, urgent sewer works, Hancock Road at Palmer Street, speeds at 40. Busy right now, Glenburn Road at McGill Road with cameras West Avenue, Edinburgh, and Victoria Road at Larks North. Krispy Kreme have done it again. A collaboration with Minions, The Rise of Gru. Krispy Kreme Minion Donuts are out now for a limited time. Available at OT. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota forklift advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Shower or two this afternoon, partly cloudy tomorrow, 18. Friday, partly cloudy, 20. And Saturday, mostly sunny and 25. Right now, it's 15 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
An innocent woman dead. Another flees the scene. The horror crash on the Port River Expressway. Lions escape at Taronga Zoo. Just how can it happen? While Monato's new giraffe trucks in, we join the extraordinary journey, a dramatic change to the treatment of breast cancer, and see the amazing World War I diary found right here in Adelaide. I'm Brenton Raglas. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday to you. 7 minutes after 4. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Stephen Rowe is out again, unwell.
Scratching 3 times in a row.
Very sore shoulders. You're like Chris Judd. They're all taped up. You're carrying the show. Good afternoon, Timmy.
Good to see you, mate. You're well. I'm glad you keep turning up. That's amazing. Yeah.
Otherwise, you might have to jump this side of the desk and press a few buttons.
Could be a lonely day, yeah. Otherwise, yes, thank you very much for that. But, yeah, look, welcome, mate. I actually said this to Jade Robram when I was speaking with her earlier. It's that morning after feeling, that day after the cup where A lot of people are sitting there going, oh, coulda, woulda, shoulda. You didn't.
No.
You didn't. It's all over. You can't get it back. It's all over for another year. But I do have that 24-hour rule where you get to be a sook for 24 hours. Now I've had that. It's over. I can't sook about it any longer.
I did think of you last night going, God, it's sliding doors. It's that Gwyneth Paltrow film. You could have been $10,000 richer
Woo-hoo!
had one horse not just been the fly in the ointment.
First, 6 out of 7 we had in there in the trifecta.
Yep.
And that number 17 done me. And then talking to young Justin today inside the office, and he tells me that he was on number 17. I said, I could have used that information
thanks for
yesterday.
Correct. But I think of that in a sporting realm too. So that's as a punter. So that eats away at you.
Mm.
Imagine, and you lived this life for many, many years, but imagine being a sports star who does something wrong and that just eats away at you forever. The kick that went inside the middle that should have gone along the boundary, the turnover.
Well, it's the great Ace Ventura, where it was all supposed to be laces out. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he's gone, Ray Finkelhorn has gone, crazy about it because he's just let it eat him away. You can't do that. Well, because if you are in sport, and I think it was Michael Jordan, great statement, he said, don't worry about all the ones I hit. Yeah. I think about the ones I missed and then went out and practiced to make sure I could get them. Yep. And you're not having a go if you're not making mistakes.
I think about Roberto Baggio all the time. The greatest player of that era in that particular year, the captain of Italy, in the penalty shootout.
Misses.
And he misses. How, you've woken up the next day going, God, I could have won 10 grand.
Yeah.
He's waking up the next morning going, I've lost the World Cup. Herschel Gibbs lost the World Cup.
Yeah.
How do they? I don't know how people do it.
It's one of those moments in time that you go, well, you're going to let it define you. You're going to let it ruin the rest of your life. You can't. You've got to have a really strong mental approach to those moments and go, okay, well, it's got to shape me as a person one way or another. I always believe things happen for a reason.
Yep.
And that reason, whatever it may be, then it's up to you how you handle it and take it from that moment onwards. And look, the first grand final I ever played in, I lost. And I felt like it was my fault. So what it did give me was a burning desire to never let it happen again. So it gave me this drive and probably an approach to my training and everything else that maybe I wouldn't have had, or maybe I would have relaxed on it had I won that premiership in only my 6th game. Maybe I would have been completely different and not had the ongoing success. So there's a reason, I reckon, for
You're a
these
better
things
man
to
than me. This would just sit in my guts. It would just burn away. It would just be something that would make me a grumpy old man as I got a little bit older. On a sporting front, there is good news of sorts, I guess, in that Alistair Clarkson is back.
Well, talk about getting on with life. Alistair Clarkson has headed back to start his job with North Melbourne, and here he is with, actually saying he was pretty happy with the people in charge while he was away.
And we've got a really good team of people. I mean, they've worked pretty well without me the last 4 or 5 weeks, so I'm sure they'll do the same. I'll just come in and out of the program as see fit, but the number one priority will be to contribute to that investigation.
So he's the best coach of the modern era, and he is back in the position that he was given pre-drama. So that's a good news story from North Melbourne, from the AFL front, and that will now push on with, I guess, the little asterisk just hanging over saying what happens with this investigation.
Well, there was a journo in that pack that actually asked, is it appropriate that you start back? And he replied with this.
It's a decision that's been made by the club and myself. The minute they are just allegations, and we're going to defend ourselves pretty strongly in the investigation. And like anyone in this world, until the allegations are proven, you should be able to get on and live your life.
So, in a statement today released, though, from Marquee Lawyers, what's happened, one of the women who made the accusations has announced that she will not cooperate, Tim, with the AFL investigation. So the woman, who are they calling Amy to protect her identity, says she's the victim of appalling mistreatment from the Hawthorn Football Club. She slammed the AFL investigations. A couple of the quotes said, "Why would I ask the protectors of the perpetrators who caused me all this trauma to then investigate the abuse?" Went on to say it's a little hard to speak up when it feels like your voice box has been pulled out of your throat. I could either stay numb and silent, or I could find my voice and play my part in the struggle to try and create safety and protection for the young ones who would inevitably face these systems.
Who have they actually put together for this investigation panel? Because it's not the actual AFL itself, is it?
No. So they've got 4 King's Councils, 2 of which are women and 2 of which are Indigenous. So they try to get as much diversity as they can. These are not AFL paid staff members. These are independent people, independent legal minds, independent people with cultural significance and cultural background and cultural understanding. The best possible 4 people probably you could get together. So it's an awkward one because on the one hand you can understand why someone who makes these accusations doesn't want to relive it and relive the trauma.
Yeah, but also feeling like the AFL is actually a part of it as well. Right. So my question then is, well, who can do the investigation? Because unless they're able to really go ahead and do the investigation, what result are you expecting?
Exactly right. And on the flip side, Alistair Clarkson and Chris Fagan are saying, well, hang on, all these accusations have been thrown at us. You can't just throw them and then disappear and say, well, there they are. Mud sticks.
The right of reply as well.
You've got to have the presumption of innocence to be able to fight your case.
I just don't know who else you can go to. Is the Amy person saying, I want it to go to the police? I'm not sure where they need it to go. Who else can investigate it? Who else can stop this happening again? I mean, one of the things I said very early on is what it's done is open up, I think, the opportunity. I think every AFL club now are going to look at having a First Nations person full-time,
correct,
so that they can be involved with any of the dealings that are with First Nations people. So you are not overstepping cultural boundaries and things that you may not be aware of. So I think that if one thing comes out of this that's good, they're going to have this full-time person at every club.
Correct.
So I think that's a really good move. But we've probably got to have this investigated because they're really serious accusations. I just don't know how it goes forward. If is it 4 King's Councils we've got on there? I don't know who else other than the police force itself. I'm
independent.
I don't know how it goes ahead.
Well, I don't think it does. I mean, greater legal minds might want to call up and argue this. I think if you are throwing accusations and then they are baseless in that you can't prove them in any way, I think a lawyer would throw that out and say, well, we need to try this case. If you can't try the case, it's like a witness then not preparing to do anything further. I think Clarkson and Fagan get off.
But it's like, and again, no legal, but if someone is given bail, they are able to get on with their life.
Of course.
And that's probably where it's at this moment.
They can't just sit at home indefinitely waiting for...
No.
And now that we're hearing that they're not going to take part in it and cooperate...
But that means the cloud remains, and that's, not great for anybody, all parties. Look, what is great is that the T20 World Cup has come to town. It's come to Adelaide, finally. We've got a game, I think, that's on now. Netherlands and maybe Zimbabwe, I reckon, playing now. But India are taking on Bangladesh tonight at 6:30 at the Adelaide Oval. So it is awesome. And, the Australians, wasn't great, mate. We wanted the Kiwis to win, but they did us no favours.
Gets it spot on again to Sam Curran. That is a magnificent performance from England. We were wondering when the real England would turn up. One of the pre-tournament favourites, and they've shown it tonight.
Yeah, credit to the way England played. They put us under pressure from the get-go with the bat, and we struggled to make those breakthroughs to try and sort of change that momentum on what was, sort of a fair surface. I think we needed a few things to go our way, but hats off to the way England played. They were very clinical.
Come on, New Zealand. Still upset about the underarm ball.
I reckon they did on purpose.
Yeah, no doubt.
They can't, we were talking about, holding on to a grudge.
Yep.
Well, 1981, they just can't get over that underarm.
No.
So they did us no favours whatsoever, but all credit to England. They bowled really well.
Yeah.
I actually thought, they did bat well, but I thought it was a gettable total for the way, and they've got a good batting lineup as well, the Kiwis, but they never got a chance. They were squeezing out the ones and twos at best, and they just couldn't get away those big hits. So well done to England, put themselves in a really strong position. The Australians have got their own challenges, haven't they?
They do.
With injuries, and we heard from both the captain and George Bailey about those injuries.
Aaron, how's the hamstring feeling this morning?
Feeling all right, actually, yeah.
Yeah, feeling a lot better.
Yeah.
So you're confident that you can play again in this tournament?
I hope so, yeah. I think so.
Stoyne in particular was just more precautionary, so I think he's certainly good to go. The other two are actually pretty good. I mean, they're moving pretty well out there today.
Good news on Stoinis.
Yes.
Very vital player. It's then opened if Finch isn't right. And I would say if he's nicked it and he's had a history of it, massive risk to play him Friday.
Well, it's 3 weeks in the AFL. All of a sudden, a hamstring in cricket. What, you're back in 3 days?
And you got we know you got to take off quick, and sometimes without much of a warm up. So I reckon he's very much in doubt, definitely for this Friday's game. But who can fill that gap now? A guy that hasn't played in this tournament at all. He has sub-fielded, but Steve Smith reckons I'll have a crack.
You know, I'm open to batting anywhere. I've batted pretty much in every position from, I don't think I've opened in T20 internationals, but I did it a couple of times in the IPL and did it pretty well.
Oh, why would you not get Smudge in the team? Do it!
Unfortunately. And this is amazing. This is a guy that, you know, was number
Best
one.
since Bradman.
Yeah, number one batsman in the world, was averaging 65 at one stage, I think, in Test cricket. Like, phenomenal. Now, he seems like there's 3 kids left at recess time as the 2 captains have been picking. And he's at the back going, hey.
Do we have to have Steve Smith on our team? Yeah.
Poor little bugger.
God, he's got leadership qualities. We know he's a good player. And it's fair to say, like, Aaron hasn't been in sparkling form. Yes, he had a good hit last, but why would you not bring Steve Smith in?
Well, I'll tell you what, I like the fact that he's wanting to play, desperate to play, and that means that you've got a desire, and let's face it, he is a world talent.
We spoke about it yesterday on the show. Sport has a funny way of just pulling strings when it comes to the narrative. Just imagine Steve Smith back on the Adelaide Oval, just getting a hit Friday, batting well, keeping his spot.
Opens the batting.
Hard to get in, hard to get out.
Wins the tournament. Well, let's not go
player of the tournament.
Crazy.
Well, yeah.
Hey, before we go to the break, mate, I think every club, and I mean any club, has one of those characters in amongst it. And I think from my time at Port Adelaide, one of the great characters, I think, and we're talking guys that are sort of almost like in the support type roles.
Yes.
We've had Alf Trabilko doing the boots for Port Adelaide since 1968. So he's now 54 years in the role and doesn't look like retiring. So it's just an amazing story. But he's one of those great characters that I think for the Swans, if you've been watching the Swans since they went to Sydney in 82, there's been a guy, a little white-headed guy, sitting behind the goals all that time, and he gets in the rooms afterwards and he sings the club song. He's been a great character. Kenny Williams, unfortunately, passed away yesterday, 93 years of age.
Good knock. And
you'd know him, watch all the replays for the Swans. He's the guy behind, but he also used to get himself involved, take players for dinner, you name it, but he'd get inside, and this is a little snippet of him in the circle, revving the boys up after they won the 2012 flag.
We're the champs! We're the CAK! One, two, three!
Well done, Kenny Williams. Every club's got them. Every sport has them.
Yeah, exactly. And they bring so much life to the club or the game itself and the like. And, you know, give us a call, and if you've 8223 0000 got one in mind, one that maybe be at your club, you know, that does all the jobs that nobody else wants to do. I know at my local club, Smosh West Lakes, for years there was a guy called John Boy, and he did all sorts of jobs, and anything that needed to be done that nobody wanted to do, he did it. And I'll give you a great story about John Boy. Now, he's unfortunately passed away, and the scoreboard's named after him now. But when the drought was on in the mid-2000s, you weren't allowed to water the oval and the like, and of course it was looking pretty grey. John Boy came up with an idea, and he got a trailer with an old boat on it, drilled holes in the bottom of the boat, went and filled up the boat down the beach, because not far from Smosh West Lakes, and drove
all
over the oval with the boat on, watering the oval, which, you know, you could get away with. That's ingenious thinking.
Yeah, that is.
That is ingenious
How
thinking.
much was left on the road on the way to Smosh? A little bit?
He obviously had something down, like a tarp first, and then released the tarp as he was on. But he was a smarter man than me. But that is ingenious thinking. But that's a great character.
It is a great character. Nugget Reese, of course, with the Redbacks.
Oh, wow.
You see Nugget in the Port Adelaide rooms, the Australian cricket team, he's up on the desk.
I think the greatest moment for me and seeing Nugget was when Steve Waugh was playing his last test at the SCG, makes that miracle 100, gets to do the lap of honour, and then Steve goes out with his wife, his kids, and then I saw somebody at the back.
Who's that bloke?
completely done up in the gear, and I went, oh my, it's Nugget.
Nugget Reese.
Nugget in one of the great moments.
Got the gloves on because he clapped so loud.
Legend.
We'd love to hear him.
Absolute legend.
8223 0000. As you know, the caller of the day goes in the running for that amazing T20 World Cup ticket prize. It's a double pass and a boundary line experience thanks to Emirates, Australia and Afghanistan this coming Friday night at the Adelaide Oval. So have you say, you might have a thought on Alistair Clarkson. We'd love to hear about the characters at your sporting club. If you've got a thought on the cricket or any other sporting issue. Just before we get to the break, and we'll check traffic on the other side, Francis Evans officially on his way to Port Adelaide when the delisted free agency opens tomorrow. So coming out of Melbourne, Francis Evans is the small forward coming to Port Adelaide. Wow. Traffic for you next, and we'll take your calls 23 after 4.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
The historic 2022 AFLW season is here, with all 18 clubs competing for the very first time.
Snaps a beautiful goal.
With Crows and Power matches in Adelaide each week, 5AA football will bring you the action.
Aaron Phillips round the body. Thank you very much.
Join the 5AA AFLW footy team led by SA Sports Hall of Famer Jenny Williams.
They will blow this game open very quickly.
Get on board with the AFLW in 2022 on Adelaide's 5AA.
Mini Jumbuck, now in McLaren Vale, make Australia's favourite wool bedding products made right here in South Australia from only the finest Australian wool. Right now, Mini Jumbuck McLaren Vale are having their first ever huge sale event. Save on all Mini Jumbuck quilts, pillows and mattress toppers while stocks last. Save on Emu Ugg boots and slippers, plus many more savings store-wide. Sale must end 8th of November and only at Mini Jumbuck McLaren Vale. Phone orders welcome. Mini Jumbuck McLaren Vale. Open 7 days.
Thomas and Friends All Engines Go storybooks have arrived, exclusive to Drake's supermarkets. Collect the whole set of 10 books, then pick up the collector's tin to store your complete collection for only $15. Simply purchase a specially marked product in an eligible transaction over $30 to get your free Thomas and Friends All Engines Go storybook and start collecting your set today. Drake's, ingredients for every day.
Now, when it comes to hearing aids, you shouldn't have to pay sky-high prices for high-tech features. No, no, no. The Specsavers Advance range comes with the latest technology and features you'd expect at a price you can afford. That's what I love about it. Specsavers also offer everyday low prices and provide upfront pricing on hearing aids, so no little surprises there, which can be viewed online right now. So that makes it easier to shop around to find the great value that you deserve.
So what's the next step? Well, here's what you do. You let a qualified Specsavers audiology professional work with you to find a hearing aid solution that suits your needs, suits your lifestyle, and most importantly, suits your budget. If you'd like to book an initial 15-minute free hearing check, or if you want to view their everyday low prices, just head to specsavers.com.au/hearing.
Hi, it's Frank the Postie. You must be sick of me talking about the 2022 council elections, but time is running out to complete and post back your ballot packs. And if you don't, you'll miss your opportunity to have your say on the future of your community. Your completed ballot pack must be received by 5 p.m. 10 November, so post them now so you don't miss out. Even if you're renting or living at home, voting in the 2022 council elections is your way to have your say on the future of your community. Find out more at councilelections.sa.gov.au. Live local, vote local.
Hi, Susanna Toop here. 30 days. That's the average time a rental property stays vacant. But at Toop & Toop, we find tenants in half the time, saving landlords an average of $860 a year. Who are you trusting to look after your biggest investment? Toop.com.au.
Introducing the Kia Cars of the Year. The Kia Cars of the Year. The fully electric Kia EV6. The Wheels Car of the Year. And the Drive Car of the Year. The Kia Sportage. To pick your side in this sibling rivalry, visit kia.com.au.
Kia. Movement that inspires. Walker Crash Repairs. For easy insurance repairs on your caravan. Get it fixed right with Walker Crash Repairs.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
No Stephen Rowe, still unwell. Tim Ginniver is here. We'll take your calls right after we check the traffic.
Croydon Park, look out for a crash. South Road at Regency Road. Got a left-hand lane blocked there. Beulah Park, urgent electrical works. The parade near Bridge Street. While at Fairview Park, urgent sewer works. Hancock Road at Palmer Street. Starting to get busy on the drive home at Crossroad at Fullerton Road, and we've got cameras Sturton Road, Edinburgh, and North Streets at Himble Beach. Harrow Scarf's 2-day Friends exclusive sale starts today. Enjoy 50% off selected homewares, Manchester, and more. Get in quick while stocks last. Sale ends tomorrow. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
So Kenny Williams, the grey-haired gentleman, used to wear the Red Swans jacket, has sadly passed away in the age of... in the 90s. 93, so it was a great knock. We are talking about club legends at your particular club on the back of Alpha Trebleco at Port Adelaide.
Correct.
Nugget Reese, of course, a much-loved fixture of the Australian cricket team. Scott from Corolta Park's got a legend for us.
Yeah, how you going, fellas?
Hey, Scott.
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Yeah, I just want to put a plug in for my old man. He passed away 10 years ago, but his name was Reggie. He started off goal umpiring and umpiring cricket for the local teams, Goodwood Saints and Coonlight Garden Football Club.
Right.
And he was always there every morning pumping up all the footballs.
Yeah.
He was always there when they had the kids in that playing as well. He was always volunteering for goal umpiring.
Well, I'll tell you what, Scott, without guys like your dad, footy clubs don't run. It's as simple as that.
I know Bob Marshall was the same as Sturt, like 40-plus years service to the club. Just amazing. The Fabrica clubs, the Salsa Club, people like that.
Incredible.
Johnny's at Port Augusta.
Oh, he's a legend in himself. G'day, Johnny.
Hello, Lethal. Timmy, how are you, fellas?
Buddy, good.
Hey, we had a local legend of my footy club, Gregory George Matthews, not the cricketer. Greg Matthews. He was a legend. Doing his foyer, always selling bingo tickets and whatever else. And, you're right. I mean, amateur, even semi-professional, possibly even professional sporting clubs can't run without these volunteers. I went to my local cricket club on Sunday and had a look at the old boys running around, because there's still a couple playing that I played with. And there's still some people in their 60s and 70s that have been volunteering at my old cricket club for years. And without the Greg Matthews of the world and these people, umpiring and doing bingo and all the rest of it,
well done.
Sporting clubs do not survive. So they are bloody legends and they don't get enough recognition. So good one, fellas. Thanks, boys.
Good on you, Johnny. Thank you for that. You're so right. Every club needs them, don't they?
Oh.
Rain, hail, shine, success. They're not these ones that just hang on when you're going well. When you're down in the dumps and you can't win a game, they're still there.
I recently spoke at the Hummocks football/netball club. They had enormous success. I think out of 6 grades, they won every netball grand final, so quite a record. But they were actually acknowledging their volunteers and supporters that night. And, one guy did everything from preparing, because they hosted the grand final for the football. So, and they've been pretty ordinary weather. Well, this guy had worked day and night, and you would have sworn Sir Les Burdett had done it. It was absolutely immaculate. So you can't. That was Crazy Harry Taylor. But that's the sort of club legend that we're looking for. And I think keep the calls coming through, because the way they and like I said, that story about John Boy was just brilliant during the drought. But they just put their time and effort, and they devote their lives to the club.
We had a husband and wife team down in the southeast, Mick and Jean Walker, who now the Oval is named after. It's now Mick and Jean. So they did so much for the Mount Bear Footy Club over the years. We'll take more of your calls after this, and we'll also chat to the trainer, one of the co-trainers of the winning Melbourne Cup.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G. 5AA Breakfast.
Our old mate from Two Tribes, who we no longer call Albo now that he's the Prime Minister of Australia. Prime Minister, good morning. Thank you for your time. I thought one part of your budget that was very open to criticism was on energy policy. Pretty light on for explaining what the Commonwealth is doing policy-wise.
Informing Adelaide.
We're working with the private sector to fix transmission, but it can't be done overnight.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA.
It's our hottest deal yet at Bridgestone Select. Snag a free Weber Q worth $589 when you purchase 4 selected Bridgestone Jeweller or Alenza tyres. For tyres and auto service you can count on, head for Bridgestone Select. Conditions apply.
G'day, it's Jared for Southern Mitsubishi. Thinking Mitsubishi or servicing your existing car? Southern Mitsubishi stock the full range, all designed to thrill. And they can service any make or model. 147 Main South Road, Morfett Vale. Driven by Australian Motors. LVD 80.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. Gambling advocates are welcoming an overhaul of betting ad rules but say more still needs to be done. 7 new warnings will be placed at the end of ads on radio, TV and online, including you win some, you lose more. The Reserve Bank Governor says interest rate rises are a necessary evil to try and avoid a recession in Australia. A review is underway after 5 lions escaped their enclosure at Taronga Zoo in Sydney, sparking an emergency alarm. And at the Men's T20 World Cup, the Netherlands are chasing a modest 118 to beat Zimbabwe at Adelaide Oval. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At FIVEAA, look out for crash, Bevington Road, Acklin, Osman Road. At Old Noongar, look out for plank of water, Main South Road at Seaford Road. Got a lane block causing a few headaches. At Beulah Park, urgent electrical works, the parade near Bridge Street. And we're quite busy at the moment, Cross Road at Fullerton Road. Look out for cameras, North Street, Henley Beach and St Vincent Streets at Port Adelaide. India take on Bangladesh tonight in a T20 World Cup blockbuster, and it's all live and ad-break free in play on KO Sports. New to KO, start your free trial today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Possible showers tonight, a low of 10, partly cloudy tomorrow, 18. Currently it's 14 degrees. More news at 5 o'clock and As It Happens on 5AA.
If the team at Lamar Homes were magicians...
Hey, presto!
They'd be terrible at it because they have nothing to hide. When you build with Lamar Homes, there's no secrets, no smoke and mirrors, and you can view your home at any stage just to make sure you're happy with everything. Some builders won't let you do that. Not Lamar. LamarHomes.com.au. Here today, home tomorrow.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
Every day, Respirico Scooter World helps South Australians to sleep better, breathe easier and stay mobile. For decades, the team behind Respirico Scooter World have made the world a more accessible place. From CPAP machines and oxygen equipment to scooters, Respirico Scooter World helps improve accessibility and quality of life. If something's up with your sleep or you want to get around easier, visit Respirico Scooter World or request a mobile visit. For all your sleep, respiratory and mobility needs, respirico.com.au.
I'm Kathy Nagel, Chief Executive of Western Hospital Henley Beach. Are you looking for a new GP? Western Hospital GP Clinic delivers primary care to all. Our GPs and experienced practice staff will assist you with your health journey and be there for you when you need it most, from young families to seniors. Healthcare assessments and care plans are just part of the services offered here at Western Hospital GP Clinic by our 12 friendly GPs. For more information or to make an appointment online, visit westernhospitalgp.com.au.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA approved caravan crash repairer.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Tim Ginniver is here, Stephen Rowe on the sick list, 25 minutes to 5. We have pals of the show, great friends of the show, and we like to reward them for being pals. Thanks to Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Go and see Jamie and Sam for the hardest to find wine, beer, spirit. Life is better with your pals. I have a sneaky suspicion, though, Tim, this man might not need any more alcohol.
But Gold Trip is brave. 100 to go. A length and a half, Emissary. Gold Trip is going to win the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Gold Trip wins it in a real staying contest for the ages. 2 legs, Emissary. Late third, High Emotion. Then Deauville Legend. Gold Trip is the winner of the Lexus Melbourne Cup.
What a day it was for our next guest.
Unbelievable day indeed. And David Eustace joins us, the winning trainer of Gold Trip. And David, how have the celebrations been?
They've been pretty solid, team. They're still going. And look, we've enjoyed it. It's obviously the race that we all want to win and be involved in, and get the job done with as talented a horse as he is. It's been a great thrill.
Hey, David, we were talking earlier in the week about different cup winners in the build-up to the big day, and we found out that when the Irish horse Vintage Crop actually won, that Dermot Weld actually took it into the hotel. You didn't do anything similar, did you, with Gold Trip?
We haven't done that, although he would do it. He's a very, very quiet horse, but we haven't asked him to do that. But we've probably done everything far from it.
Mate, you've got an incredible history. Of course, your father James was a famous trainer, but you've decided to come to Australia. Now, how did that decision come about?
My father's trained, my whole life. He's retired now. My brother took over. I've got an older brother who's always going to take over the family business. So,
yeah.
It's going to need to sort of seek other avenues, and I've always wanted to travel anyway and work in racing. So, I came down here hoping to just gain some experience and explore certain opportunities, and went from there.
So early on with Kieran Maher, you were sort of assisting along there, and then you became a partner in 2018. How exciting was that?
Oh, look, for me, it's just a great privilege to be able to be in partnership with Kieran and work with a great team of people that we have behind us and the horses. I feel very privileged to be able to do that. And, the owners in this horse have been supporters for a long time, and it's just, for us, this really is what it's all about. And, to share it with the whole team is very special.
And for Mark Zahra coming in, I could see the elation in his face and the celebration afterwards. He felt like the redemption day had come.
Yeah, of course, that's right. Redemption for the horse who was supposed to run last spring. He couldn't run. He got scratched because of the RV protocols, and we were, extremely frustrated about that. And to be able to then bring him back, get a run in all three majors, and to win the Cup. I think it's the ultimate test of a horse, and it's testament to him as a racehorse to be able to come through all of those and finish by peaking in the Cup.
You had 5 runners in the Cup, finishing 1st, 3rd, 7th, 14th, and interpretation. Did that pull up okay?
Yeah, he actually did. It was a really strange run. He obviously, got pulled up by Froggy. Gut feel is that he, had what's called atrial fibrillation, which is something which happens to their heart, but then switches back in straight away. So he's absolutely fine this morning, and thankfully, I think that's the case for all the horses in the Cup, which is the most important thing.
There was some talk on High Emotion about if it was a bit soft underfoot that it might run well. So thank you very much. Had a little $5 each way on that, but I was actually impressed with the way it flew home.
Yeah, she rattled home really well. Very proud of her. It's an excellent run, and she's got it all in front of her, and we'll probably target her towards the Sydney Cup.
Well, there's no rest for you guys, is there? I think you've got 9 runners tomorrow at Oaks Day. Is that right?
Yeah, we've got plenty of runners tomorrow. We've got third favourite in the Oaks, and in Zenzella, who's going really well. So the filly in race 1, Arctica's got a great chance.
Hey, David, you should have won the Caulfield Cup. You were a bit unlucky in the Cox Plate. You had the soft deck, so you would have thought you're probably confident going into the Melbourne Cup. Not many people gave you a lot of love, though, in terms of bookies and sort of tipsters. You confident the whole way through that Gold Trip could get up?
Yeah, we were. We were confident in the horse ability. That was clearly there. We knew he'd stay. The big test was he going to be able to carry the weight? And he passed out with flying colours.
What does it mean to you when you win a Melbourne Cup? Does life change for you? Is it the pinnacle of your career? What have you got your sights on now?
Well, certainly to this point it is. As I say, I'm only young, and what we've managed to achieve up to this point has been very special, and beyond this, we'd love to travel horses internationally and gain horses that are good enough to race abroad.
Well done. Well, congratulations. We can hear the celebration still
it's going
continuing.
well. Before you go, David, I've had a look. What can you tell us about a horse in your stable that might be running soon? I think his name's Warren. What can you tell us about that horse?
Yeah, look, it's quite special to have that. I'm a massive cricket fan. Horse was named after Warney before he sadly passed. He's had a magical step, and the owners decided to call him Warney, and they actually gifted 5% to him.
Oh, fantastic!
Which was very special, and they still have that. So he's not a bad horse. I think we'll have a bit of fun with him as well. So to have that.
I think if he's anything like his namesake, he'll definitely have a bit of fun, mate. So
that's right.
You continue having your fun too, mate. Well done, and good luck in the rest of the carnival.
Okay, thanks very much.
Congratulations, David. Well done. David Eustace. Nice little moniker after the name now of Melbourne Cup winning trainer.
So young too, and it's interesting how he said that, I always had an older brother that was going to take over from my dad. It's almost like the royal family where you go, well, there's William and then there's Harry.
Yeah.
You've got to go and do your own thing, and that's what David's done, and come to Australia to do it. And wow, some success that they've had. When he became a full partner in 2018, they won the Cox Plate in 2020. They won the Derby in 21. Now they've won the Melbourne Cup. Like you said, very close in the Caulfield Cup. So I think there's a couple more to tick off, but it sounds like he's going to go international as well.
5 years now, that partnership, Kyron Maher, David Eustace, $100 million in prize money. It's their 20th Group 1 win.
Wow.
So you mentioned that, the Cox Plate, 2 ATC Derbies, VRC Derby, 2 Magic Millions, 2 Euro Classics, and 15 other Group 1s.
Wow.
You're 5 years in. Tim, you've already got $100 million in the tank.
And I tell you what, there were still some celebrations going on in the background there.
Imagine what that would be like.
Oh, yes. I tell you what, it'd be awesome. But
I mean,
well
you
done.
sort of, premierships fall off you. You've won 7 of it. But it's the race. It's the race.
Yeah. And it's an amazing achievement. And, sometimes for guys like that, and it's like the young Cummings boys and all the rest of it, you're living sometimes in the shadow of absolute greatness. Bart is the Cup's king with 12, but, they keep putting themselves up there, and it's like it's in the bloodline. It's like the horses themselves. It's in the blood, and they get into it and love it.
So we love the idea of Warren. That's a cool name.
I loved it.
For a horse. This may be a narrow field of people that enjoy their racing, but let's try it between now and 5 o'clock. Matty Doldie's going to join us after 5 o'clock. What's the best horse name you can think of?
Oh, the best one I've heard in my time of looking at the form guide.
Yep.
Waikikamukow.
Ah, yes.
And it was all
From
one
New
big
Zealand.
word.
Yeah.
A fantastic name, Waikikamukow. Absolute classic. But there's brilliant names out there.
Yep.
And I know sitting down sometimes when you have a bit of a race day that many a person will find an omen bet in amongst the form guide. But I think it's those very clever names that you just love. And for years I was looking at that going, what does that say? And then when I heard the call, I thought, oh, brilliant.
Yep.
Waikikamukow.
8223 I have to check with the lawyers if I'm allowed to go with mine. I'll give you the first word. It's hoof. 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 Do you know this horse?
I think I do.
And the second word was hearted.
Yes, that's right.
HERT.
Yeah.
Anyway. 8223 Don't make it sort of, it's a family show. Don't make it. But there are so many creative names that just get by. We should try. We've got Justin and the birthday boy, Sam Tugwell, behind the glass. We should get these boys to try and find a little bit of audio.
Oh, yeah, of
Waikikamukow or Hoof. Hearted. We could maybe find that one. I remember there was a race where I think there was like 8 or 9 horses in the race, of which 7 of them had the exact sort of same name, bar one different word. So the poor, Jakesy or Terry or whoever was calling it, was a nightmare.
If you call in Tasmania, you will often, it's GG something, so it'll be GG Monday or GG Tuesday.
Yep.
There's obviously, the breeding down in Tasmania.
Yeah.
Somebody named the horse GG, and it's just gone on from there. So it's everywhere. And the funny thing about that is my wife, with our grandchildren, her name that they call her is Gigi, so Grandma Geneva.
Nice.
Gigi. And, of course, every time there's one in there, normally you go for the omen bet, but I'd said I'd have to back 50 of them because they are everywhere in Tasmania.
And sometimes there can be that name that becomes your omen bet, like What a Nuisance won the Melbourne Cup.
Correct.
It teamed down, and a lot of people just went, oh, this weather's a bit ordinary, you know, what a nuisance. Oh, that's an omen bet, bang, away you go. And now it is that we have Gold Trip becomes
correct,
a nice winner. Also gets a rose, by the way, which is in the book of you know what?
Yep. Of who? Harder.
All right, we're going to take your horse names right after this. Here's the traffic for the drive home. Knew I was going to get in trouble.
At FIVEAA, look out for a crash. Bevington Road, Ackland, Osman Road. Old Noongar, got a plank of wood in the middle of the road. Main South Road at Seaford Road, got a lane block causing you headaches. Beulah Park, urgent electrical works there. The parade near Bridge Street. And we're slow going at the moment. Anzac Highway at Morford Road. Got cameras to look out for today, Sturton Road, Edinburgh, and West Beach Road at West Beach. Get into your Ford dealership quick and get into a next-gen Everest quicker with Trend and Ambiente models in stock now. See Ford.com.au for details. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy G.
Everyday low prices, any time of year. Trust the mighty South Aussies. Great food lives here. Foodland.
You're watching the 5AA live stream, thanks to Foodland.
Foodland.
.org.au.
5AA's Business of the Week. Cancer Council on 1395 Adelaide's 5AA.
Hey Strikers fans, Peter Siddle here for what promises to be an action-packed BBL season. I can't wait to get back in the Strikers blue this summer, and there's no better sound than the roar of a full Adelaide Oval crowd as some poor batter's stumps go flying. Tickets are on sale now with early bird pricing set to end on Monday the 21st of November. Visit adelaidestrikers.com.au and I look forward to seeing you back at Adelaide Oval this summer.
At 1, Ruby was diagnosed with cancer. At 5, Harry's parents discovered he had asthma. At 8, Olivia developed mental health issues.
At 7, we're doing something about it. The Channel 7 Children's Research Foundation supports research into things that shouldn't be part of a kid's life. Donate and help us help them. crf.org.au.
I'll be the middle.
Well, can you take the heat, Timmy? Because KFC are serving up a seriously hot deal. We're talking 2 golden crunchy wicked wings, regular chips, creamy potato and gravy, and a fresh dinner roll for just $4.95. Enough said. Your afternoon just got hotter with all your KFC favourites in one place. It's the wicked new fill-up. And just quietly, those wicked wings, they are just a little bit special. Timmy, between you and I
can't believe this deal. This is incredible. So what are you waiting for? Why not drop into your nearest KFC and snag some fried gold for yourself? Get wicked with it. KFC's $4.95 fill-up. $4.95. Pick up only. Not everywhere and not forever. So available till 4 p.m.
When shopping around for hearing aids, the main sound you'll hear is... But not at Specsavers, where you don't have to pay top dollar for top-of-the-range hearing aids. Just book a free 15-minute hearing check at specsavers.com.au/hearing. Then maybe you could use those savings to hear something more pleasant like... Should have gone to Specsavers. Conditions apply.
Gents, have you got the urge to pee again, even though you only just went? Caruso's Pee Less for Men relieves that annoying gotta pee again feeling and helps support healthy bladder and prostate function. So, if your need to pee all the time is getting in the way of enjoying life, try Caruso's Pee Less today. Caruso's Pee Less is made in Australia, comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health food stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
At AFCA, we help you find a fair outcome to problems with your bank, insurer, super fund or financial firm. If you've made a financial complaint, we can help resolve it. That's what AFCA does. Search AFCA, AFCA today.
Upgrade your caravan? Your insurance should cover that. Speak to Walker Crash Repairs and let them fix it.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
No Stephen Rowe, still feeling unwell. Hopefully, fingers crossed, back tomorrow. Tim Geneva is here. We're about to take your calls on great horse names. David Eustace, Melbourne Cup winning trainer, joined us a short time ago. Got a horse in the stable called Warren, after the great Shane Warne.
Bowling Warnie.
And some of us, small things amuse small minds, immature, all of that. Take a quick listen to this.
Questions, Jet. Who farted? Who farted on the outside? It's close. Who farted in the winner's circle?
Sorry, Craig, our boss. Hey, that's the horse's name. What can you do?
A little milder than that. Leith, was when it was the early 80s and a friend of mine was mad into the trots. So he'd say, you want to come out? So I'd go out. It's a night out for me.
Great night at
I was
the
about
trots.
16, 17, and there was a trotter out there called Disco Danny.
Right.
And, of course, Disco was still pretty big in the early 80s. And, Disco Danny couldn't be beaten. It was unbelievable. Won so many in a row. And
stays with you forever,
doesn't it? It stays with you forever because if you put your little fiver on and you win, well, happy days.
Jenny from Westlakes, what do you got for us, Jen?
Well, one I like is Who Shot the Bartender?
Oh, yes.
That is a good name.
That's a great one. Who shot the bartender? Exactly right. I'll tell you what. Who gave the shot to the bartender?
Well, it's a little bit like license plates. If someone else has got that name, you've got to come up with something else. And think how many horses and trots and greyhounds and everything else there are. So,
and it goes through. It goes through a committee, I believe. Anyway. G'day, Dave. How are you?
How are we, fellas? I've got two. First one, Richard Cranium.
Yes.
How they got that it's got me beat. And when I lived in Wales, there was a local trotter up there called Lemmy 50.
Oh, I love it. Lemmy 50. How
Lemmy
good would that
50.
be? And that would have been said many a time at the trots.
So great. Charlie at Happy Valley, got a horse name for us, Charlie?
One called, and I can add a little bit of a call, including it if you like, with an impression of Kevin Sattler.
Oh, nice.
The name of it is, and the jockey's fallen off. So imagine hearing, next is why kick a moo cow, and the jockey's fallen off.
Brilliant, Charlie. Brilliant. And good call, too.
Very nice.
Got a future there.
Well done. Very good.
Absolutely well
That's
played.
a hard gig, isn't it? Race calling.
Race calling. Very tough.
Mark at Grange, what do you got for us, Mark?
G'day, fellas. Look, there was a horse in the old days called Stiffy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the announcer said Stiffy, and he was well held.
Oh,
see, my boss is literally in his office going, what you throw out is what you get back. Thank you, Mark.
You started that,
Family
Forrest.
show. Ken's at Morpeth Vale. Ken, you got a name?
Yeah, I have. Actually, I was going to give you Richard Cranium, but someone's already done that one. But there was a horse race here in Adelaide, actually. I'll spell it for you. It was TSIPURA. And it was called Tispura. But when you say it backwards, RUPIST.
Yeah, I've got it.
Excellent, Ken. Thank you for that. Probably should be more for late nights, but we'll try.
That
Thank
is
you, Ken.
so clever, though.
But again, that's
Very
that's a
clever.
brains trust. Someone's thinking of that.
And they put it through and got away with it.
Yeah.
And think,
They're
how
all
good's
laughing
this?
at each other.
Now read it backwards. Love it.
Jason at Wattle Park. Now, Jace, family show. Keep it clean, please.
I know it's the best way to get somewhere. It's going around at the moment. It's called Perfect Route, ROUTE.
Oh, very good. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
there you go. That's smart.
Not sure how they got that one through, but anyway.
Yeah.
Very good, Jason. Thank you. Looks very differently written.
Of course, probably an American on the panel because they say route.
Of course.
don't they?
Perfect rat. Maybe that
Got
is
away
what
with
it
it.
is.
Got away with it, Jason.
Surely the Brains Trust have like Terry McAuliffe in the corner. Hey, Tez, just call these couple of names for us and then you
I
realise.
reckon Tez has let a few of these through.
It's not going through. Andrew, you're in Sydney. You got a horse name for us?
Hey, mate. WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get.
Oh.
That's what it was called. A trotter.
Right. Okay. WYSIWYG. What you
WYSIWYG.
see
Yes.
is what you get. Like
Yes.
it. Like it. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Hope you're okay with the horn in the background. Andrew, a prospect.
Yeah, how you going? What about Go You Mongrel?
Was that a horse?
I reckon that's a good one.
You want one named that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I reckon we've all said that at race day, don't
Oh,
worry about
and you
that.
can imagine, too, the caller, if all of a sudden it gets to the finishing post, you're just thinking, go you mongrel.
Oh, now,
Nice
do
one,
we have to
Andrew.
give away a voucher for this? Why
yeah.
not? $50 Powers voucher. Happy with that?
Who did you like?
Good friends. Oh, look, I think I can't go past Zapura.
Yep.
Spelt
spelling
backwards. I love that. That
well
was
done.
brilliant. Thank you. I think it was Ken. Well done.
Good on you, Ken. We'll send you off to see Jamie and Sam Parafield, Airport Liquor. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, we're going to speak to one of the greats of the Sydney Swans, as we were talking about. One of their great fans died, and it'd be a nice insight to see what Kenny's life was like from a player's perspective. So
Yeah.
Jude Bolton's going to join us, and also Matthew Doldig from the Sample. Interesting for SNFL clubs, rezoning.
Yeah. Population shifting.
If you had played at a particular club, you were always affiliated to that one. Not anymore. Dolds to explain that next.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Hi, it's Frank the Postie. You must be sick of me talking about the 2022 council elections, but time is running out to complete and post back your ballot packs. And if you don't, you'll miss your opportunity to have your say on the future of your community. Your completed ballot pack must be received by 5 p.m. 10 November, so post them now so you don't miss out. Even if you're renting or living at home, voting in the 2022 council elections is your way to have your say on the future of your community. Find out more at councilelections.sa.gov.au. Live local, vote local.
A shock absorber, CV joint, or maybe a bearing kit. It may seem like just a four-wheel-drive part, but open it up and you'll find so much more. Each Terrain Tamer four-wheel-drive part is the culmination of 50 years of experience. Every break, every lesson, every setback far from home strengthens everything we do. So when you break down miles from home and you drag out our number, you'll know you're in safe hands. That's the Terrain Tamer connection, and it comes free with every part.
If you love your family, you'll love Cheapest Chips.
Cheapest Chips.
We've got you covered with our new range of baby and toddler products, including trusted brands like Huggies, Rafferty's Garden, Mother's Choice, Safety First, and Playgrow. Cheapest Chips have made it so easy to keep your little ones happy, safe, and healthy. For more on Cheapest Chips' new baby and toddler range, go online or visit a store. Give your family more love and care for less at Cheapest Chips.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And Business SA and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA, they're bringing all their experience to your business, making sure it's in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Get in touch with the experts, Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA on 8300 0000. That's 8300 0000.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Here's who you can support around Adelaide. Experience Australia's most popular Chuck Berry show, Wild Berry. Hear all the greatest Chuck Berry hits live. Wild Berry, Friday, November 25 at the Aqaba Hotel. Book at stickytickets.com.au. Experience a slam dunk before the game or a masterpiece before the concert with a pre-show meal at Jalma's Kitchen. Perfectly placed near the entertainment centre. jalmaskitchen.com.au.
Do you hear that? It's back. The sound of rivalries ready to be unleashed. The sound of thousands of fans ready to rock. The sound of the most epic entertainment ever. The sound of the streets calling. It's the sound of the Velo Adelaide 500. Returning December 1st to 4th. Visit adelaide500.com.au.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Possible showers tonight, a low of 10. With the 5 o'clock news, I'm Michaela Kamari.
To book a free 15-minute hearing check, specsavers.com.au/hearing. T's and C's apply.
Homeowners are being warned there may be another interest rate rise next month to try to curb inflation. Reserve Bank Governor Philip Lowe says the board is taking many factors into account.
If we need to step up to larger increases again to secure a return of inflation to target, we will do that. Similarly, if the situation requires us to hold steady from now, we will do that as well. Given the uncertainties around the outlook, we'll be watching very carefully how the economy and inflation pressures evolve over the summer.
Meantime, the Commonwealth Bank has joined the NAB in lifting its variable mortgage rate by another 0.25%. The increase across various home loan products kicks in from next Friday. The Commonwealth will also lift interest paid on some of its savings products by 25 basis points. Gambling companies will be required to show new taglines at the end of ads, but campaigners believe the measures don't go far enough. Gamble Responsibly is being replaced by 7 new messages, which must be rotated through the year. Among the new taglines is "Chances are you're about to lose." Alliance for Gambling Reform spokesman Tim Costello says the ads should be banned altogether.
This is grooming our kids to become gamblers. There's not a 10-year-old that doesn't know the logo, the jingles, the odds of sports betting companies. That's an adult product.
Police are continuing to investigate a shocking crash involving 5 cars on the Port River Expressway at Gilman. It happened at around 9:30 last night. A 26-year-old woman from North Haven, a passenger in a Prius, died at the scene. 2 other people in the car suffered non-life-threatening injuries, while an 18-year-old woman in another car was hurt. This witness telling Seven the scene was a mess.
3 other cars involved and just like a pinball. It's just a big mess. We just ran and helped as many people as we could. I end up pulling the triangles out my truck for when the truck breaks down to block the road off.
The driver of a Holden Cruise involved in the crash did a runner and was arrested a short time later. The 38-year-old has been charged with a range of offences, including dangerous driving. She's currently being assessed in hospital and will face court in the coming days. Families staying at Taronga Zoo in Sydney have described the moment they were told 5 lions had escaped from their enclosure. The zoo says strict protocols were followed and all the lions are now secured. This man was staying in the roar and snore accommodation and says staff acted quickly.
They came running down the tent area saying that there's a code 1, get out of your tent, leave your belongings behind, run, come with us, and we had to run to this. It was only about 50, 70 meters. They opened the door, everyone got in, they counted us, and they locked the door, and we were staying inside the building.
Now turning to 5AA sport, the Australians will give Aaron Finch every chance to prove his fitness for Friday's T20 clash with Afghanistan. The skipper and batter Tim David are both looking to overcome hamstring injuries. Meantime, in this afternoon's match, the Netherlands are chasing a modest target of 118 to beat Zimbabwe. They're currently 1 for 52 after 8 overs. North Melbourne coach Alistair Clarkson is looking forward to telling his side of the story as the investigation continues into allegations of racism while he was at Hawthorn. He admits it's been a stressful time for all those implicated, including former assistant Chris Fagan and former football boss Jason Bird.
I just really want to just get through the investigation with the AFL. It's been a tough 4 or 5 weeks for all of us. And what we do know is that we always had the care of our players right at the highest priority of our football club.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
To book a free 15-minute hearing check, specsavers.com.au/hearing. T's and C's apply.
Look out for a crash at Frueville, Bevington Road and Glen Osmond Road. West Hindmarsh breakdown on the north-south motorway at Grange Road. Old Nollunga, Plankerwood on Main South Road at Seaford Road. Got lane blocked at the moment, while at Devon Park, Boomgates down Exeter Terrace at Dudley Park Station. Busy right now, South Road at the Southern Expressway and Seaford Road intersection. And we've got cameras West Beach Road, West Beach and Victoria Road Largs North. Don't move, improve with an Olympic one-car shed from $4,900. Limited time only. Contact one of their 4 display centres today. Olympic Industries, built to last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Possible showers tonight, a low of 10. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 18. Friday, partly cloudy, 20. And Saturday, mostly sunny and 25. Right now, it's 15 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
An innocent woman dead. Another flees the scene. The horror crash on the Port River Expressway. Lions escape at Taronga Zoo. Just how can it happen? While Monato's new giraffe trucks in, we join the extraordinary journey, a dramatic change to the treatment of breast cancer, and see the amazing World War I diary found right here in Adelaide. I'm Brenton Raglas. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Well, Centre saying no Stephen Rowe, which means that if you are tuning into our live stream, thanks to Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, you will see Tim Ginniver Stephen Rowe is unwell and has been unwell now for days, so we hope that he gets better.
Yes, the biggest issue of that is that he's lost his voice. So that's why he can't be on air. I mean, he's tough and courageous. He would normally rock up, no problems, but when you can't speak, you can't contribute.
Just listen to that. That's Jody celebrating. No noise in the house, all the rest of it. We have so many text messages regarding horse names, which we'll get to very shortly, and a lot of love for our own Sam Tugwell. It's his birthday today.
Yeah.
And he didn't want anyone to know it.
Yeah, the Cafe de Villiers haven't missed a beat, so Lauren B's wishing him a happy birthday. Hope you have a great day, Sam.
So while we're speaking to Jude, if you just want to ring up and chew his ear off for the next couple of minutes about his birthday, do so. But we want to pay tribute, and often you talk about great coaches and you talk about great players, but it is the fabric of the club, the supporters, the support staff who really made footy clubs. And we were saddened to hear the news of Kenny Williams passing away at the age of 93. Kenny, of course, the grey-haired man, always wore the Swans red jacket. We had a great text earlier before saying, remember when Plugger drilled the footy into him when he was a Saint, and then the next year he became a Sydney Swan?
That was the lovely Marie sent that in, but the funny thing was Plugger was there the following year.
So we thought, let's go straight to the top, bit of Sydney Swans royalty, and find out what kind of person Kenny was and what these kind of people mean for the footy clubs. The great Jude Bolton joins us in Sydney. Jude, thanks for your time.
Pleasure, Lee. Tim, how are you, fellas?
Oh, excellent, mate. But, that is a sad passing, isn't it? And, look, we know that he lived to 93 and not many people get to live that long and a fruitful life. But it sort of just puts a moment in time, doesn't it, when somebody as connected to the club like that passes?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you summed up in the opener, just this is what great clubs are built on, is the fabric of good people who are loyal and passionate, and that's what drives, a place like Sydney and so many local footy clubs and sporting organisations across the country. And Kenny was our legend, our guy who was there and was from the moment I walked in the door all the way through. And really sadly missed and leaves a big hole.
What were your first memories? I mean, all that time ago, Jude, when you did walk in the door into the Swans, what were your memories and first, encounters with Kenny?
Just as you touched on, he was a legend before I ever arrived or any of us arrived. I was watching the games when Plugger was drilling those low torpedoes at him, and then he'd serve it up to all the opposition gun forwards and hang over the fence and give them hell. And sure enough, when we walked in, you wanted to go and meet Kenny. And I was like all the other supporters and players, you've got to get over and meet Kenny, because you'd seen him on TV and seen him sing the song. But, mate, he took us around for dinner, he and his wife, Yvonne, early on. So I formed a really strong relationship with him away from the club even. And he's just a great man to have a chat with and a beer with. And he'd tell us stories of his younger days. He left school really early to go and earn a quid. And he was at the racetrack. He was a bit of a jockey early on, and then he was involved with some colourful characters at Flemington racetrack and things like that. And he just had so many stories across a really rich life. And I think a lot of Swans people will be sad to hear that he's gone today.
So those dinners that he used to do with players, was that sanctioned by the club or just Kenny doing what he does?
Oh, look, it was. If you knocked him back, you'd never get it again. So, I tell you what, if you wanted a home cooked meal, you don't knock that back. And I can remember, Goodsy and Mickey O'Loughlin and those guys being always over there midweek, but you got to see his young kids, grow up, and I can remember him beaming when teaching his little grandkids how to do the goal sign after a goal was kicked over the fence, and that was what they learnt before even speaking, was how to show and celebrate a goal. And sure enough, his biggest moment probably was when the premierships came. I remember all of us making a big circle to sing the song, but Kenny wasn't there. I think he was out signing autographs and kissing babies' heads like he used to do. And he was the last person to enter, and when he rolled in, literally, he was just so jacked up and energised. I mean, he just sang to the rafters, and it was a really special moment that I'll always cherish.
Hey, Jude, we have a little bit of that audio. Hang on 1 second.
We're the champs! We're the CAK! One, two, three!
It's such a sacred place, Jude. The people putting their arms around each other at a football club, like particularly an AFL club, to invite someone like him in must mean a lot to him, and he must have been very special to you all.
Absolutely, and I used to have people come up and say, you know, who that white-haired bloke? How do I get his job? How do I go in the middle? I want to see him. I think people thought he'd won some competition, but he was just so celebrated by the guys. I'm like, no, that's Kenny's job, and no one else is ever going to get that. No one will ever get that opportunity again because, you know, it is a cherish. It's such an inner sanctum moment, but that's how much the guys just held him in high regard, and we loved him and his family and his beautiful wife, Yvonne, and that sort of stuff. And as I said, like, that's what makes great clubs. It's about good people and, you know, the enduring sort of relationships you have.
Last one before we let you go, Jude. We appreciate your time. We saw it in the grand final this year with Joel Selwood with young Sam Morefoot. Do you, as a player, do you get to enjoy it through their eyes too? It's a special moment for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably the larger side of footy is the people you meet along the journey, and whether it's you know, going into some of the children's hospitals and just the impact that a player can have. And I've always been a big believer on the more you give back to the community and the wider part of a footy club, the more it gives back to you. And I think you know, probably many of our players don't get I guess the acknowledgement for the efforts they do, and you could see that from Joel. It was just such a special moment on the big stage.
Really appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Jude.
Thanks, fellas.
Great of the Sydney Swans and of AFL football, Jude Bolton. So Kenny Williams passes away at the age of 93, but you're going well if you're a supporter and people know who you are. They know your name.
But that came right from when they moved up to Sydney.
Yeah.
You know, it was 1982, Barry Round and all that playing. But
Greg
you know,
Williams,
he was right there with Yvonne, his lovely wife, and they started that right behind the goals, and you couldn't miss them. I just wondered whether, you know, when Plugger was kicking those low torps at him and trying to kill him, and then the next year he's at Sydney, I wondered whether they shook hands or had a fight in the forward pocket.
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine? That would have been nice and awkward. We're going to get to Matthew Dolding in just 1 second. Lots of text messages coming through, though, Tim, on these horse names.
Horses.
Sammy at the Pines said in America there is a racehorse called My Wife Doesn't Know and another horse called My Wife Knows Everything.
I wonder who wins.
There's a horse in Sydney at the moment called Democracy Manifest. We're going to try and grab the audio of that one from Darren Flindle over the last 200 metres. This one, Des from Paraka. Timmy, there was a race in Brisbane last Saturday where 9 out of the 10 horses, their names started with Mashami.
Oh, no. That would be a nightmare for the caller.
Well, Justin's got it for us. Take a listen.
Fake down the outside. Mashani Raider the leader. Mashani Renegade, the outsiders out after Mashani Raider. Mashani Raider, Mashani Renegade. Mashani Raider, Mashani Renegade. Mashani Renegade's going home the better. And Mashani Renegade's won from Mashani Raider. Third, Mashani Mystique, followed by Mashani Metallic.
Oh, my Lord.
How stiff were you if you backed Mashani and didn't win?
I know. Got the wrong Mashani.
That's amazing.
That's a great job by the caller.
Oh, yeah.
How difficult is that?
That is tough.
And then this one the boys found, which is great. Somebody clearly loves their Pirates and decided to call their horse A with about 15 R's after it.
In the middle of the track is coming down to the final 16th. It is Stampat in front. Arg! Arg! Arg in front, coming down to the wire. They're coming to the finish, and it's all
He's enjoying that a little too much.
I tell you now, that's something Blakey would do in a skit,
so
isn't
great,
it? That is brilliant.
That is so great. We're going to take a break. Matthew Dolding on the other side. First, the traffic for your drive home.
At Walkerville, we've got a tree down Walkerville Terrace at Stephen Terrace. Freeville, look out for crash, Bevington Road at Glen Osmond Road. While at West Hindmarsh, there's a breakdown, slowing things up at the north-south motorway. That's at Grange Road. Busy right now, James Cogden Drive at Railway Terrace, and look out for cameras, North Street, Henley Beach and Woodford Road at Elizabeth North. Unlock your summer with exceptional savings on select Mercedes-Benz models. Shop online or visit your authorised Mercedes-Benz retailer today. Limited time T&Cs apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowing and Timmy G.
Everyday low prices, any time of year. Trust the mighty South Aussies. Great food lives here, Foodland. The mighty South Aussies, yeah.
Time to find out what's making news in the Channel 7 newsroom as we welcome Jane Doyle to the show. And Jane, a horrendous crash overnight at Gulman.
Indeed, it happened on the Port River Expressway, Tim, and we'll speak to a truckie who was caught up in it all. It involved multiple vehicles. One woman was killed, another has been arrested, and instead of facing court today has been sent for a mental health assessment. A controversial bill has passed through Parliament, effectively allowing the government to bypass heritage concerns over the Thebarton site for the new Women's and Children's Hospital. Prime Minister's been in town and has been asked to defend funding delays for the North-South corridor. We'll hear what he has to say. And in sport, Alistair Clarkson has started at North Melbourne, and England's put a dent in Australia's T20 World Cup defence, crushing New Zealand overnight, so the Aussies still under pressure. We'll have details tonight at 6 in 7 News. I hope to see you then.
Thanks, Jane. Jane Doyle and all the team at Channel 7. There's only one choice. 7 News tonight at 6.
Hi, Alan from Mannix here. It's a fact. There are thousands of medium-sized homes all over Adelaide that have old-style, inefficient heating and cooling. So upgrade now with Mannix. Get a super efficient, top quality ducted reverse cycle air conditioning system now and be comfortable all year round from just $6,990 fully installed with our 10-year installation guarantee. Conditions apply. But don't delay, prices are rising. For a free quote, call 1300 Mannix or go online anytime.
It's value the Australian way this Christmas at Coles, with half-price bonds until Tuesday. Easy gifting solutions or perfect stocking fillers. Half-price bonds for Christmas at Coles. Excludes babywear, bloody comfort underwear and clearance items. Offer ends Tuesday.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to get free installation? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? 2. The largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers and get free installation on your cabinets with laminate benchtops. For a limited time, of course. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
Time for a new car? Solitaire Volkswagen will have you driving away in a new or demonstrator vehicle quicker than you thought. With SA's largest Volkswagen range in stock and available for immediate delivery on selected models. And they have over 90 demonstrator vehicles also available. So don't wait. Visit Solitaire Volkswagen's centrally located showrooms at Hawthorn or Medindi today. SolitaireVolkswagen.com.au. DL 65541.
Hear that? It's the echo of 3 nights of epic concerts. The sound of bubbles, beers and banter. It's awesome DJs and plenty of food trucks. And the scream of supercars pushed to their limits. It's a 4-day festival to get the summer started. It's the Velo Adelaide 500, December 1 to 4. Search Adelaide 500 and get your 2022 tickets at 2012 prices. The streets are calling.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved caravan crash repairer.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sport Show.
No Stephen Rowe feeling unwell. Tim Jennifer is here 20 minutes after 5. Just some news from the Sixers. Craig Randall II will miss Thursday night's clash against Illawarra. He has a chest injury after a collision in the game on Sunday, so not good news for him and the Sixers, but they should still be able to get the job done, you would hope. And we have a family pass to give away, not for that game, but for the game coming up on Saturday, they take on the Perth Wildcats. The Sixers. Tip-off is at 7:30. If you would like to go to see the Sixers in action, always a great night out for the whole family. Family Pass, 8223 0055. Go to it. Bit of news, SNFL style.
Not wrong. Club zone updates. We got the Sandfield GM of football on the line, Matt Doldy. G'day, Matt.
Tim, how are you?
Hey, excellent, mate. But I want to go back in time. What year did the SANFL introduce zoning in the country zones? Was it the 70s somewhere?
Yeah, early 80s was one of our first boundaries commissions. So,
right.
That sort of underpinned the talent and where it's directed since then.
Well, we're having some changes made, and that's pretty much due to the Australian Bureau of Statistics census of population and housing data. So every 5 years you look at this, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So following the national census that everyone would have completed last year, we do our boundaries review because it's predominantly based. It used to be predominantly based on population and where young boys aged 5 to 18 lived. That's evolved a little bit in recent times when we've got better data around actual participation and the growth of girls football. But, we align it with our national census so we get some really accurate data.
Yeah, because thinking about that, let's go back to, say, 1985. Mount Barker would have had about, a tenth of the population it has now?
Exactly right, yeah. So it's we need to keep changing it. It's always a challenging process, and having to move boundaries where one young footballer might think their future is at, say, the Sturt Footy Club, and then with a stroke of a pen they're heading to West Adelaide. But it's really important that we do change it, because you're right, Mount Barker is growing significantly, as is the whole Hills region. So that's been the brunt of one of the biggest changes we've seen this year.
Of course, West Adelaide have had some challenges with their zones, with, of course, the Mallee League, especially the River Murray clubs that have really found it hard to continue.
Yeah, so you've got these real growth pockets like Mount Gambier, then you've got some regional areas that are starting to struggle. We've seen through the national census that the population is declining in regional areas, which I think we all knew, and those farms are becoming bigger. So trying to get that balance of country footballers and metro footballers and making sure it's as equal as possible presents some challenges, particularly those Mallee regions. So we've made some significant changes this year with West Adelaide picking up the River Murray from Sturt. Obviously, the growth in Mount Barker, declining in Mallee, it became a really obvious decision to award the River Murray region to West Adelaide.
How do you go when you consult the clubs, bring them in, talk about these boundaries? How does it go down? Do you get much vigour in the discussions?
Well, you generally have 8 clubs that aren't happy with what the result is, so particularly those that lose some regions. So, look, it is one of the more challenging process to go through and trying to bring the clubs on that journey. Look, the clubs are fantastic. They understand that changes have to be made, and as long as they've done with really accurate data, I think most are accepting of those changes.
And Dolls, as you know, that can even be the case in the city where, so Bailey plays at Henley, and he's got team members that are in the Westies Academy, some are in Glenelg, some are in the Eagles. So even in the metro area, depending on where you live, you can be aligned to someone else yet still play the same local club.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've got about 14 metro clubs that pretty much on the boundary of 2 or even 3 sample clubs. So you get these kids that are a real mix and match at footy clubs. So it's important that our sample clubs and our development officers at the sample do a really good job in making sure that parents and families understand the pathway for their young boy or girl.
One I was surprised with, that Sturt conceded the Houghton Footy Club to Nord. That's no dramas, but I didn't realise that Sturt didn't have the Mitcham Football Club. I was surprised by that one. That was with Westies.
Yeah, that Westies boundary was getting really close to Unley Oval. So one thing we try to do is really protect the heartland, and Mitcham was one of those footy clubs that, you sort of automatically think, well, that's a Sturt Footy Club, community club, but wasn't the case. So, look, West Adelaide have picked up 7 River Murray clubs from Sturt. We thought it was fair and equal to push Mitcham back into the Sturt zone.
And with the actual country kids themselves and the junior development squads and the rest of it, we're still getting good participation and getting good talent coming through all the junior levels at our sample clubs?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, our country kids, they bat way above the average, really. We average about 30% of our SA born and bred sample players are from regional areas, which is a fantastic number given the population's now about 1.1 to 450,000. So they're doing a fantastic job. As we know, footy and netball are the lifeblood of our country town. So they love it and breathe it, and they keep producing great talent.
Hey, Dolds, it's probably a longer conversation for another day, but just as an overview, country footy as a whole, and you and I, we're from the same part of the world, so looking down at the southeast where the Western Border appears, a league that you played in and starred in, that appears to be in some sort of trouble. Is it healthy around the country areas in most of the leagues, or is they conversations that will be had in the next couple of years about potential mergers? Yeah,
look, it's ongoing conversations, as has just been evidenced with the census, as we spoke about, populations are declining, and then volunteering's becoming tougher, and kids have got other options as well. So there are some challenges, albeit on a whole, you'd say country footy's pretty strong, but we need to have our eyes open, ready for that next adjustment, as we've seen in the Mallee and Eyre Peninsula. They've done those changes. They've got ahead of the curve that they saw coming and made those changes, and that's the conversations we're having down in the southeast. While very challenging, they need to be had.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll follow that one with interest. Appreciate your time, Matthew.
Thanks, Matty. Before you
No
go,
worries.
mate, I know the AFL yet to release their draw, but when do you guys expect to perhaps have the 23 season sample all drawn up before Christmas?
Yeah, we're aiming sort of mid-December this year, which is a pleasant change to what we've had the last couple of years where we've had sort of our rolling fixtures. So we're looking at about mid-December. We'll be able to get all the sample fans their fixture and set their 2023 season up.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Tim.
GM of footy at the Sample, Matthew Doldig there. So let's just quickly run through, for those interested, River Murray Football League. Imperials, home of the big Chico, Robert Chikowski. Ramblers, Mike Palonga, Manum, Jervois, Meningi, who are now known as the Coorong Cats, and Tailem all head to West Adelaide.
Yep.
Help the Bloods
They
out,
picked that
which
up.
is good. So the Bulldogs receive North Pines, Virginia and Udunda Robertson. They get them from Woodville, West Torrens, together with Mawson Lakes and Brahma Lodge from the Roosters. Sturt conceded Houghton, as you mentioned. That goes to Norwood, while they gain the Mitcham Footy Club. So the Mighty Hawks, that will help them out. South Adelaide received the Cove Football Club, which was Glenelg, but seems far more like South Adelaide if you played at the Cove.
It seems logical, that one, doesn't it? I'll tell you what, he's dead right about you've got to keep the country kids coming through and playing and the like, because I'll never forget back in the 80s, some silly person suggested that rather than have an internal trial, which are always boring and you don't really want to play, we'll put some spice in it and make it country versus city.
Yes.
Yeah, big mistake.
Yes. I remember
I
that
was
game.
City.
I remember that game vividly. We were very cheering on the country boys
that's
down
it.
in the southeast. Well done. So a little bit of change, but that's good. You know, that's how you get the filter through to the SAFL
And
clubs.
as he mentioned, the data's there to back it up, because that's, you know, the shifting population and sands, and yes, of course, that area around Mount Barker, absolutely booming.
Well, it is, and it's a different conversation, but Mount Gambier, which is a booming metropolis, their football league, unfortunately, is in all sorts at the moment. They will be down to 5.
Which I can't believe.
No, so that's, and they're too
Massive
strong
town.
for the local timber towns.
Yeah.
And Carry-Narracourt's a fair way away, so an
Stuck
hour
in the middle with
plus.
you, basically, aren't
It
they?
is Steelers' wheel down in the southeast, so we'll see how that all plays out. I'll let you know. 5:30 headlines on the way. More to come after 5:30, including Lauren Arnell, coach of Port Adelaide's AFLW side.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy G. 5AA Breakfast.
Yesterday we had our 7th consecutive interest rates increase courtesy of our good friends at the Reserve Bank of Australia. Judith Sloan is the contributing economics editor at the Australian.
I feel very concerned for people because the governor was very clear that the cash rate was not going to move till 2024.
Informing Adelaide.
There is no obvious horizon.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA. The fully electric Kia EV6, Wheels Car of the Year, and the Kia Sportage, Drive Car of the Year. To pick your side in this sibling rivalry, visit kia.com.au.
Kia, movement that inspires.
AutoCam.
So this is the air filter out of your car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
It's not actually the wheel bearing. What it is, the handbrake.
AutoCam. Real-time reporting with instant SMS approval. Call 1300 Automasters.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. The federal government is considering every possible option to reduce energy prices, including a cap on gas prices. The Commonwealth Bank has joined the NAB in lifting its variable mortgage rate by another 0.25%. Police are continuing to investigate a shocking crash involving 5 cars on the Port River Expressway at Gilman, which killed a 26-year-old. An Australian batting pair, Aaron Finch and Tim David, are both racing to overcome hamstring injuries to be fit for Friday's World Cup Cup clash with Afghanistan. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Walkerville, got a tree down Walkerville Terrace at Stephen Terrace. Frueville, got a crash there, Bevington Road at Glen Osmond Road. And West Hindmarsh, keep your eyes peeled for a breakdown, which is slowing things up on the north-south motorway. That's at Grange Road. Busy right now, James Cogden Drive at Railway Terrace, and we've got cameras Sturton Road, Edinburgh, and North Street at Henley Beach. Make it look easy with Sportsbet Same Race Multi. Combine multiple runners in the same race for bigger odds. Same Race Multi from Sportsbet. Conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Possible showers tonight, a low of 10. Partly cloudy tomorrow, a top of 18. Currently it's 14 degrees. More news at 6 o'clock and As It Happens on 5AA.
Hey Rick, it's Chris from Automasters. Just thought I'd give you a quick rundown on some of the things on the car.
Now you can see what we see.
Just want to show you two little things on the CX-5.
AutoCam.
So this is the air filter out of your car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
It's not actually the wheel bearing. What it is, the handbrake's integrated into the calipers.
See any issue firsthand. How good? Real-time reporting with instant SMS approval. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Interest rate rises have created a level of uncertainty with some buyers and sellers. But demand is still outweighing supply, with stock levels down by 10% compared with a year ago. It's critical you work with an agent who can deliver the facts and guide you to a successful sale. With a history spanning almost 40 years and a team of unrivaled experience, Toop and Toop knows what it takes to maximise your results in any selling conditions. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
Internode geeks love combinations, and here's one of our favourites. You take a whole 40 gigabytes of data, add unlimited talk and text to standard Australian numbers, a no lock-in contract, a low price, and the result? Ta-da! Our magnificent new 40 gigabyte mobile SIM plan. It's just $15 a month for the first 6 months, then $29.99 a month. To find out more, visit internode.net. 6-month offer for new mobile customers only. Excess data $10 per 2 gigabytes for use in Australia.
Looking for a feel-good breakfast? Paris Creek Farms organic Greek-style yogurts do more than just taste amazing. They help fight climate change too. Made with milk from carbon-neutral South Australian dairy farms, our 100% organic Greek-style yogurts are the perfect feel-good breakfast, snack or anytime treat. Rich, creamy and delicious. Find our Aussie-owned and Adelaide-made yogurts in your local supermarket today. Paris Creek Farms. Deliciously better for you and for our planet.
Scraped your caravan? Your insurance should cover that. Speak to Walker Crash Repairs and let them fix it.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
26 minutes to 6. Stephen Rowe unwell, not here, unfortunately. Returning tomorrow, fingers crossed. Still to come, you know the rule, still to come, $700. The Barreau Hotel, our mystery moment. So your chance to get your hands on a little bit of cash, 26 to 6.
Well, Port Adelaide had its first season in the AFLW, and we've got the coach of the team, Lauren Arnell, with us. G'day, Lauren, how are you?
Always good to talk to you, Tim.
Good, good news.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's a sunny day at the moment in Adelaide, so it's a happy day.
Exactly, and it should only get better. Hey, let's assess the season. I feel a little bit like this was a whirlwind. It was amazingly quick, and it's all over in a heartbeat. How did you see it, and how are you now feeling at this moment in time?
Yeah, I think whirlwind's a really, really good way to describe it. I mean, I think my job was announced in April, I believe, and moved pretty quickly end of April down to Adelaide from Brisbane. And I think at the time of my job being announced, we had 2 players, Aaron Phillips and Ange Foley, signed. And shortly after, Justine Mules and a whole range of others, and many of whom moved into state. So pre-season started mid-June, and I think week 3 of pre-season we had our draft where we brought 7 more players on. So we had 7 draftees who did a 7 and a bit week pre-season, and then we jump into 10 weeks of actual season. So look, there's been some real highlights. There's been some amazing moments. We've had 3 rising stars. We've had games where we feel we've definitely in the mix of winning games that we haven't been able to win. We had an enormous win at home against the Swans. We had 20,000+ people at the showdown at Adelaide Oval. It's been huge in that really short space of time, and it's definitely been a whirlwind.
So at the end of it, how are you feeling? What's in the gut?
Look, we're actually still going, to be honest. There's the AFL set criteria where once your season finishes, you need to exit all your players formally within the next 7 days, and so we're right in the thick of that at the moment. And then obviously we'll go into pretty heavy review. So it's a bit bittersweet, to be honest, because there's a real sense of pride in what we've been able to begin at the footy club. There's some frustration around the results that we were able to find and not find. And then there's real optimism about what's to come, because what we do know is the challenges we've confronted in a short space of time. We know now that we've got quite a lot of time to prepare for the next season, and so there's real optimism in that for us.
So 30 players were on the list. Is everybody are there some 1 year contracts? That's what I'm probably asking. Are there some people that won't be in the 30 next year?
Yeah, I think with every season of AFL men's and AFL women's, there's list turnover. And so one thing we'll endeavour to do is to keep the majority of our lists together, because I think you see in men's and women's programs, and particularly W, you'll now know that Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide Crows are the most successful teams in what's almost 7 seasons of history of AFLW, and the teams that have been able to generate the most continuity in their list are the most successful. And so we'll look to do that as best we can, while we know you can never keep the same squad every single year in men's or women's. And so there's a bit of that to evolve, and certainly what we're waiting on from the AFL is an idea of, we don't have dates on sign and trade, we don't have dates on list management or numbers on how many we can keep in our list, so we'll do our best with what we have.
So we put a squad together, and we were mindful of making sure that we had some experience, but also went with a younger list. Went with a lot of first-year players and the like, with a view that in 3 to 4 years that could be very beneficial for us. Have you seen that blend? Did we get the mix right? And do you feel like that future now does look bright?
Yeah, I think our list management strategy has been really clear, and you've identified that is start young, keep the young ones together with some older experience and leadership heads, and build together. And so one really exciting part of that is obviously Abby Dowrick was the rising star of the competition in round 1. Hannah Ewings, I think, was round 3, and then Indy Tahoe, who certainly waited her turn to be announced as a rising star in that final round 10. And we do think we've got others, particularly Alex Ballard, who had a really strong season, missed round 10 with concussion, but that's a kid out of Sturt who was overlooked in her draft year and has played to a really high level with the opportunity that she's had this year. So we feel we've got a really exciting core group of young talent, and we're looking forward to supporting their development in years to come.
Well, let's get on to the frustration. 1 win, 1 draw. Now, what I saw, a 70% compared to, and I think it was better than the teams that finished 11th and 12th. So what it says is...
Percentage?
Yeah. You're in the contest. And that's what it said to me, is that, okay, we're not getting belted. We're not getting smashed off the park. We're in games for a long time. It just seemed like there could be bursts, and then there could be... It was the old feast or famine, wasn't it, as far as goals went? Yeah,
we've definitely found that. And I think, a statistic that I've seen in the last couple of days is we're equal 8th in the competition for goals conceded in this season. And so we're actually leading the expansion teams in how many goals we give up. One real challenge has been in how we score across 4 quarters of footy and the inconsistency that we've found. And I think one thing that everyone would acknowledge with a young team is you're going to find inconsistency, whether that's through season or through games, and that's certainly been a challenge for us. And is it fair frustration? Definite frustration. Is it fair to be frustrated at something you know is going to come with a young group of players? Maybe. Are we doing everything we can to support and grow that so that we can be more consistent within quarters and within games?
Because it felt like we should have won more games. It 100%. Felt like there was no doubt that they were in games for moments where you thought they could take it. Carlton was one of them, obviously, and you just got that frustration, I think, that you go, I think they're better than that, and we just didn't get I don't think we got the win-loss.
No, you sound like me all through the season, to be honest, Timmy. I think, one thing is when you put a footy team together that are playing against other teams who've largely been together for 3, 4, even up to 6 seasons, the continuity you have and the understanding you have of each other out there on the field and your game style is a real challenge. And so... there's weeks, round 1, we went to Perth for our first ever game, and you walk away from that and go, we could have won that.
That was the one.
And then,
that was another one that we felt we could win.
Yeah, and then you go round 3, you have the draw against Carlton, and you go...
It was an established side from day one.
Yeah, and then the way you turn up round 4, you go back and have a huge win against the Swans at home at Alberton. And you go, well, if we played in round 4, how we played in round 4, if we played that just 7 days earlier, we would have beaten Carlton. And so it felt like that sort of pattern throughout the year, because you just need that next game in your pocket, but you can't rush it. And so that's definitely been a frustration, but also an understanding that we have in the space that we're in as a season 7 expansion team. Those are the frustrations and challenges we have to work through, and remain as positive and optimistic as we can while we work through those challenges as best we can.
And having a percentage of 70 said to me that they're very competitive. And
we're in games.
We're in games, but the way I looked at it was I wanted to see whether they would give effort, whether they would, stay in line with the football, all those sorts of things. They were doing exactly that. So you couldn't question their endeavour or their commitment as far as, in game day, I thought.
Well, one thing I've been really strong on from day one is we'll play Port Adelaide footy, and that's what you've just described. I think the next bit for us is hitting the scoreboard far more often and having that extra little bit of polish forward of the footy. So, that that's something we'll put a lot of time into, and we'll get better at it. And I think a lot of that sometimes does come down, or doesn't sometimes, a lot of that does come down to understanding of each other as we move the ball forward under high pressure. So, yeah, we there's frustration. There's games that, like in a 10-round season, there's potentially 5 or 6 of those games that we didn't win, and we walk away and go, we could have won that. And we gave ourselves an opportunity to win that, and we didn't.
And that's the gap to fill next year.
100%.
So one thing I probably did notice, and you can either correct me or agree, I felt like a lot of the first yearers actually found out what it's like to play at the top level. I saw a fair few huffing and puffing at times where I went, okay, there's a next level of fitness that we need to get to in this next pre-season.
And that's absolutely something we're really clear on. And, the players that we've had come in, a lot of them, that existing W players, had played bits and pieces for their previous club earlier in the year for season 6, which went, I think, January through April. The girls out of the Crows played in a premiership in April and then came into pre-season mid-June. We had a large group of 18-year-olds, 17, 18-year-olds who played in SA Under-18 National Championship through April, May. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is you've got players coming from all different environments from the early part of the year. They land in our environment with either a 10-week or a 7-week pre-season, depending on what injury conditions they may have brought in, and you're actually just trying to connect them and bring them together. And so that's what's really exciting for us right now is we've got what we think is a big chunk of time if the season remains where it has been this year. We think we've got a real opportunity for starting point. The players need a break. And then we get started pretty quickly into really solid pre-season and off-season where we can build some strong foundational fitness.
When would that start, if that was to be the plan? And we're playing in August, game 1?
Pre-season?
Pre-season, when would that start?
Well, the off-season for us is planned where our athletes will get a reasonable break from us through November, but their off-season with us they'll be given programs pretty early December, which they're looking forward to. A formal pre-season is decided by the AFL, but my expectation would be if it was this year and it was thrown together pretty late, June 13 was this year, I'd expect hopefully May, mid-May or late May, I'd expect the AFL to tell us that we'd be going into a formal pre-season period.
It was a good opportunity now that the eyes have been opened, I think, for a lot of the newbies to say, okay, well, this is what I need and identify, and that's what I can work on beforehand.
Yeah, and I think to your point, that you can, in all parts of life, you can talk about things that you know as an experienced person in footy, but until that person experiences it for themselves, the value's not truly there.
Correct.
And so, to your point, that the really clear understanding of the level, and now all of our group, we played 30 players this year, this season.
That's great.
Our whole list has a really clear understanding of that level now because they've felt it. They haven't just been told about it.
Yeah. Erin Phillips goes on again?
I believe so, yeah. She's contracted going into next year, and certainly that back end of the year,
she had a
amazing.
slow pre-season as well, recovering from her knee, didn't she?
Yeah, and that was challenging for Erin. I think, heavily underestimated what she's returned from, and I think you see where she was able to get herself to in that back end of the season was incredible, and certainly one of the most impactful players in our group in that second half of the season.
Excellent. Well, Lauren, it's a big job. I know you've got to get back onto it. Get back to Alberton and keep working.
Good to chat to you, Timmy. Thank you.
Little fireside chat. Tim Jennifer, Lauren Arnell. So, how do you wrap it up? Season 1.
I think what would have been a great result was 3 wins. It ended up being 1 win and a draw, but I think they know that there was a couple that got away there. So what it does say is the new players and the youth that they went for now know what the level's like. They've got to play every player, so everybody knows what it's like and what you need to improve on to get there. So I think their plans will be very clear moving forward.
From little things, big things grow.
Yeah, well, that's right. But like a lot of the teams who aren't in probably that top 4, avenues to goal and actually scoring consistently has been a challenge.
Yep. If you are the parents or grandparents of a female footballer, chuck them in the goal square because they will be dime a dozen next year in the AFLW. Time to get your hands on some money.
The 5AA Sports Show Mystery Moments.
Has the hand of history on his shoulder.
Hand of history on his shoulder was a Tony Blair quote, the former PM. But it was used in a sporting sense. We're trying to find out what the moment was. If you know, $600 could be yours thanks to the Barrow Hotel Group. What else will save you money? $10 off any steak every Thursday night. So head along tomorrow to the Excelsior Hotel, 8223 0055. Go to it. We'd love to give you the money. $600 could be yours at 13 to 6.
At Walkerville, look out for a tree down. Walkerville Terrace at Stephen Terrace. Devon Park got boom gates down at the moment, cause of your headaches. Exeter Terrace at Dudley Park Station. Well, at Fairview Park, urgent sewer work slowing things up. Hancock Road at Palmer Streets. Quite busy at the moment. Southern Expressway at Seacombe Road. And we've got cameras the North-South Motorway, Waterloo Corner, and North Streets at Henley Beach. Run, don't walk. Freedom's online only flash sale is on. Save 25% off site-wide. Today only. Shop online at freedom.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show. The Skip, Mark Bickley talks footy each Friday night on the 5AA Sports Show. Thanks to Jarvis Toyota. Rediscover the road in the all-new Toyota Land Cruiser 300 at Jarvis Toyota, South Road, Clovelly Park.
A shock absorber, CV joint, or maybe a bearing kit. It may seem like just a four-wheel-drive part, but open it up and you'll find so much more. Each Terrain Tamer four-wheel drive part is the culmination of 50 years of experience. Every break, every lesson, every setback far from home strengthens everything we do. So when you break down miles from home and you drag out our number, you'll know you're in safe hands. That's the Terrain Tamer connection, and it comes free with every part.
This is your time to experience the best of life in your new luxury apartment. Meticulously crafted from the ground up. Choose from a range of spacious 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments at Adelaide's most sought-after address, 88 O'Connell. Just a short walk to the CBD with picturesque views across the city, hills or coastline. Enjoy the convenience of a ground floor marketplace with bar and dining, pools and gymnasium. Apartments are selling fast. Visit 88o'connell.com.
Get a read on local dining. Get a read on when the sun will be shining. Get a read on today with The Advertiser. And enjoy full digital access for only $1 a week for the first 12 weeks. Minimum cost $4. Search The Advertiser offer today. Conditions apply.
When shopping around for hearing aids, the main sound you'll hear is... But not at Specsavers, where you don't have to pay top dollar for top-of-the-range hearing aids. Just book a free 15-minute hearing check at specsavers.com.au/hearing. Then maybe you could use those savings to hear something more pleasant like... Should have gone to Specsavers. Conditions apply.
Go on, Nana, do it. No. Floor it.
Get back to doing what you love with a mobility aid from Respirico Scooter World. Whether it's the best seat in the house or a little something to help you balance, Respirico Scooter World can help make your world more accessible. Visit Respirico Scooter World or request a mobile visit for all your sleep, respiratory and mobility needs. Search Respirico Scooter World today.
Scraped your caravan? Don't worry. Call Walker Crash Repairs, your RAA-approved caravan crash repairer.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G. The 5AA Sports Show Mystery Moments.
Has the hand of history on his shoulder.
No Stephen Rowe, so it's up to Tim Ginniver to give away
Oh, yeah.
$600 thanks to the Barrow Hotel. Just weave a little bit of good luck.
Thank you very much. The only clue at the moment is speed. And with great speed. Matthew has called in. G'day, Matthew. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Excellent, my friend. So for $600, what do you think our mystery moment is?
I reckon it is Eliud Kipchoge running a sub-2-hour marathon in Vienna, I think.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, that was
fastest marathon ever.
Was that was this year, wasn't it, Matthew?
I can't remember the exact date of when it was.
Yeah.
I think maybe a couple of years ago, earlier this year.
Yeah, earlier this year.
Speed. Well, speed it was because it was under 2 hours. It was phenomenal. So how'd we go, Leith?
Well, Matthew, if you're going to buy 60 steaks tomorrow at the Excelsior, you're in luck. Because you've just won $600.
Guilty.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I've been trying to get on the last.
Let's relive
trying to get through.
Let's relive it, Matthew. 1 second.
Thank you.
And now, through hard work and discipline, he's pointing. Come on, he says. Eliud Kipchoge has the hand of history on his shoulder. Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books in Vienna. 1:59.40, the unofficial time. The first man to run a marathon in under 2 hours.
1:59.40 for a marathon.
Wow. That is incredible. What made you think of that, Matthew? What was the clue? Was it the commentary?
Well, yeah, I've followed marathons and running a little bit. My cousin ran the New York Marathon a couple of years ago and involved in the Indigenous Marathon Project Foundation and that kind of thing. So,
fantastic.
Just something happened to know.
Well done, mate. 600 big ones, mate, thanks to the Barreau Hotel Group. Got to be happy with that.
Thank you so much.
Well done, buddy.
Congratulations, Matthew. Well done. So we have a brand new mystery moment tomorrow.
Yes.
$600. So we try to get Eliud on the show. His English isn't great, so it would be a little difficult listen probably, but it's a remarkable.
So it was sort of, remind me, it was set up, wasn't it, that they assisted him to try and break 2 hours to see if somebody could break it, but it wasn't like they weren't competing against each other. They were actually going in turns and assisting him to keep him going.
Trying to run the fastest ever, which he did.
It's
broke
still
under 2 hours.
an amazing, phenomenal effort.
It's amazing.
I can't believe it.
Just a quick shameless shout out. Speaking of marathons, this weekend is the New York Marathon, and there's a couple of runners, well-known runners for Little Heroes Foundation,
correct,
who are running this weekend. Jack and Jess Trengove are both in New York, and they'll be running this weekend. So one of the great marathons. I know Roey's done 4 or 5.
5, I reckon he has. Yeah.
So this weekend, supporting.
Interestingly
funds.
enough, out of those Trengoves, one's done the marathon. I reckon. That's right. I reckon one of them will finish. No worries. How'd the other bloke go?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what Jack's time will be. So I think if you get under 6 hours too, you get in the New York Times or the New York Post.
Oh, yes.
So when Graham ran it and Rowie
We're talking Graham Corns.
Graham Corns back in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Joe Chanella about it yesterday because Joe ran that year.
That's right.
Greg Maltz. There was a lot of a lot of people have done it for charities over the year. Anna Liptak. I think Kane's running it this year, so a lot of people run it for charity, which is great. I think Cornsy just 6 hours and 2 minutes, maybe. So he just missed out. He's a bit flat. I think Rowie ran. He'll ring.
So he didn't buy the paper.
Voice.
He didn't buy the paper.
No, he missed the paper. Soda ran a good time that year for the charity.
Yeah. He's done a few too.
I think Rowie ran in the 4-hour something. It's amazing.
Which is fantastic.
And so I saw the first people come through at 2 hours plus, and then the very last person I saw was a 70-year-old who ran for Little Heroes, and he ran it in 9 hours. And he said, "I'm here to run."
I do remember him, and the thing about that was, I think he popped a calf.
Yeah.
And like you said, he was 70 years of age. And if he was about 10 minutes longer, they actually sweep him off the track, and you don't get to finish.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think his name was Des. I should know that, but he ran it 9 hours. Amazing.
Phenomenal.
Anyway, well done. $600. New mystery moment tomorrow. Trevor at Morphettvale with a horse name for us.
G'day,
Hi,
Trev.
guys. How you going?
Good, mate. Good. What do you? We've had some interesting names tonight. What's?
This is an interesting too. I was watching the races yesterday, and Achunga race 5, and it wasn't going well. And the horse just before the Melbourne Cup was racing 91 to 1 shot. It was called Reach for the Plonk. And it ended up coming second to last. So I thought that wasn't a great sign. No. That's how the rest of the day finished up.
I reckon, it was
great.
Like name, like nature.
That's
there,
right.
I reckon.
That is an omen bet. Well done, Trevor. Thank you for that. So we've had the boys out the back doing a lot of work for us. Justin and the birthday boy, Sam Tugwell. Call him and wish him a happy birthday. Somebody said, what about Democracy Manifest ran the last couple of days? Have you got that audio?
Democracy Manifest is getting his split, and McDonald's starting to execute his judo. They're on the favourite, and Democracy Manifest moved up to join Italian Informant. They beat off Assiduity, and then came Real Key. It's Democracy Manifest in front with 100 metres to run from Italian Informant. But gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Succulent Chinese meals all around them.
Oh, wow. Darren Flindle, nice work there behind the microphone. Someone mentioned the one in the US, Sam at the Pines, about the American horses.
Into the final furlong. My wife knows everything. The wife doesn't know. They're 1-2. Of course they are. My wife knows everything in front. To the outside, the wife doesn't know. My wife knows everything. The wife doesn't know. My wife knows everything. More than the wife doesn't know.
And we played you the audio earlier about Mashani, which was race 1 at Eagle Farm on the weekend, where all the horses had the same name. Well, let's wind you back 12 years in Mackay, Queensland, where, again, the caller earned his money.
There's Craiglee's left, right and centre, but Craiglee Royale wins it easily. From Craiglee Matilda, third Craiglee Gal, fourth was Craiglee Edge, followed by Craiglee Tina. Then came Craiglee Smokey, Craiglee Rory, and Willie Nick. I think you'll find he's last. It's going to be a photo for last, and the Craiglees might have run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Well, that was fun.
You know, to be fair, if I was that call, I would have asked, look, can I just drop the Craiglee and just call them by whatever name, the Matilda and the Redback or whatever? That's ridiculous.
How obnoxious. Oh. I like the little sting in the tail. And that was fun. We're going to take a short break. More of your calls coming up after 6 because the show continues next.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G.
Save up to $30,000 on premium upgrades when you build with Rivergum Homes. Choose from up to 27 quality options and upgrade your home and your life with stylish kitchen appliances and stone veg tops, home automation, premium flooring and a solar energy pack with EV charger. But for a limited time only, go to rivergumhomes.com.au or visit any of our displays at Seaford, Parafield, Anglevale, Playford Alive or Mount Barker. Terms and conditions apply.
Like shocks shooting through your body.
That's how some people describe their shingles pain. Shingles is caused by the reactivation of the chickenpox virus. While most people recover fully, up to 25% may experience long-term complications.
I had to cancel all my plans and struggled to work.
Up to 1 in 3 people risk developing shingles in their lifetime.
If you're 50 or over, don't let shingles affect your plans.
Talk to your doctor for more information. Individual symptoms may vary. Sponsored by GlaxoSmithKline Australia, Melbourne.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated. Because it's personal.
Landlords, every day your rental property is vacant, it's costing you money.
If you're a landlord looking for a quality tenant, Toop & Toop's CEO of Property Management, Susanna Toop, can point you in the right direction.
Absolutely. We have just launched a new innovation for our clients. Toop & Toop landlords can now secure a tenant up to 2 months in advance and before their property becomes vacant. This new innovation allows landlords to tap into our extensive pre-screened tenant network. We know who is actively looking for rental properties across Adelaide, and we are giving our clients access to this valuable information.
So you can start looking for a quality tenant without incurring advertising costs?
That's right, it's the perfect way to find your next tenant, ahead of time. On average, we meet over 600 tenants at our open homes each month, and it's not only landlords that benefit, it's great for tenants too. Toop & Toop is giving tenants the opportunity to secure a home up to 2 months sooner and before they become publicly available.
To register, simply head to toop.com.au/rent.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA
Possible showers tonight, a low of 10. With the 6 o'clock news, I'm Michaela Kamara.
To book a free 15-minute hearing check, specsavers.com.au/hearing. T's and C's apply.
The Reserve Bank Governor says interest rate rises are a necessary evil to try and avoid a recession in Australia. Rates have increased by another 0.25%. A further hike is expected next month. The move will add to cost of living pressures, but Dr. Philip Lowe says lifting interest rates is one of a few tools available to bring inflation back down.
If this were to happen, the evil of inflation would be with us for longer, and the eventual increase in interest rates needed to bring inflation down would be even larger. This would increase the risk of a severe recession and a sharp rise in unemployment.
Investigations are continuing following a fatal multi-car collision at Gilman. It happened on the Port River Expressway at around 9:30 last night. A 26-year-old woman from North Haven, a passenger in a Prius, died at the scene. The 26-year-old woman driving and a 29-year-old male passenger suffered non-life-threatening injuries, while an 18-year-old woman in another car was also hurt. The driver of a Holden Cruise did a runner but was arrested a short time later. This man telling Seven he witnessed the crash.
The car was speeding, cut me off, just about pushed me off the road, and then 2 seconds later she pretty much pushed the other car across the road, run them off the road, and they went into the other lane and hit a B triple.
The 38-year-old woman has been charged with a range of offences, including dangerous driving. She's currently being assessed in hospital and will face court in the coming days. The federal government is under fire for not doing enough to tackle problem gambling. Reforms to advertising guidelines will see the Gamble Responsibly tagline replaced with 7 rotating options. They include chances are you're about to lose, and you win some, you lose more. But independent MP Andrew Wilkie says it's not good enough.
They really need to go much further with the sorts of safeguards like linking up the daily limits between all of the companies in real time, banning gambling advertising during certain times of the day or perhaps altogether.
14 new affordable homes being built in Woodville Gardens will soon be available for purchase. Construction by Bradford Projects is being undertaken on behalf of the SA Housing Authority, with completion expected in late 2023. Human Services Minister Nat Cook says there are 10 townhouses and 4 single-storey properties available.
In terms of the criteria for people, you need to be an Australian citizen living in South Australia, not currently owning a home, also over 18. And then there are some income and asset limits. Single people need to earn below $100,000 and couples below $130,000.
Now turning to 5AA sport, and the Netherlands have claimed a 5-wicket win over Zimbabwe in their T20 World Cup match in Adelaide. The win effectively ending Zimbabwe's chances of making the semi-finals. India is about to take on Bangladesh in their group match, while in Sheffield Shield action, New South Wales lead SA by 110 runs with 7 wickets remaining. Alistair Clarkson says he intends to mount a strong defence amid allegations of racism during his time as coach of the Hawthorn Football Club.
At the minute, they are just allegations, and we're going to defend ourselves pretty strongly in the investigation. And like anyone in this world, until the allegations are proved, you should be able to get on and live your life.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
To book a free 15-minute hearing check, specsavers.com.au/hearing. T's and C's apply.
At Walkerville, we've got a tree down, Walkerville Terrace at Stephen Terrace. At Devon Park, boom gates are down there, Exeter Terrace at Dudley Park Station, while at Beulah Park, urgent electrical works are continuing the parade near Bridge Street. Busy right now, the Southern Expressway at Seacombe Road with cameras, North-South Motorway Waterloo Corner and North Street at Henley Beach. At Ampol Foodery, every stop is covered. There are food-to-go stops, coffee, milk and bread stops. When you need to keep moving, Ampol Foodery is worth a stop. Ampol, Australia's own. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota forklift advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Possible showers tonight, a low of 10. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 18. Friday, partly cloudy, 20. And Saturday, mostly sunny and 25. Right now, it's 14 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
An innocent woman dead. Another flees the scene. The horror crash on the Port River Expressway. Lions escape at Taronga Zoo. Just how can it happen? While Monato's new giraffe trucks in, we join the extraordinary journey. A dramatic change to the treatment of breast cancer. and see the amazing World War I diary found right here in Adelaide. I'm Brenton Raglis. See the full story on 9 News, happening now.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Well, don't adjust your radio. A little bit of extra sports show for your Wednesday afternoon, as will be the case Thursday and Friday. The sports show going through until 7 o'clock. Welcome to call 8223 0000. Lots of things to get to. We'll get to your calls in just 1 second. But Tim, breaking just before we got to Michaela at the 6 o'clock news, the AFL have released their statement regarding the investigation, because to set it up for people at the start of the show, Alistair Clarkson is back at the Kangaroos, started yesterday, day one, had this to say today to the press.
Oh, listen, Chris, Jason and myself have gone through a tough 4 weeks without a doubt, but we're pleased that the terms of reference have been stamped by the AFL, and we just await for information from the AFL when all that will commence. But yeah, looking forward to the chance to contribute to that, and in the meantime get on with what we need to do here.
He was also asked about the allegations and whether he should be at the club right now.
I'd be very, very surprised if we weren't able to put a really, really strong case forward that these allegations have been reported in a different way than we saw them when we were at the club.
So the AFL have just released a statement literally just minutes ago saying they acknowledge the response to the independent investigation, because this is on the back of the lawyers for the person named Amy, or been given the alias of Amy, basically saying that they will not participate because it's an AFL-run investigation, if you like. The AFL, to sort of shorten this, it's a lengthy statement, acknowledge the pain and the trauma, the grief from Amy in the statement, basically saying the matter was brought to the AFL by the Hawthorn Football Club, along with a consultation that undertook the review. It was important to set up an independent external investigation, providing a clear and safe process to investigate the matters. The AFL can only investigate the matter under AFL rules, and that is the only jurisdiction they have. The ability to determine, and as they've said previously, the process doesn't stop any impacted person from taking separate legal action or seeking redress in another forum or jurisdiction. What do you take out of that?
Well, what they're saying is this is the process that we are capable of doing, and so we're doing it to the best of our ability for independence. So we need to do that to be able to investigate it. If you can't contribute, that's going to make it very difficult for us to come to any conclusion.
Sure. So if you want to continue this further, lawyer up, get into court, because that's how it'll go. They go on to say part of the detailed consultation process preceding the commencement of the investigation, proposed terms of reference were sent to the lawyers representing the potential participants, and we took into consideration all of their comments and concerns. Ultimately, there needs to be balance of consideration, including cultural safety and fairness and different perspectives, and no individual had all their requests met. So I'm assuming that the accusers in this case have asked for things, and those being accused have asked for things, and neither have got exactly what they want.
Because, yeah, they're trying to obviously have some sort of balance in between. But, yeah, I can't see this investigation, well, what can it bring when you can only interview half the parties? So I don't know that it's actually even worth pushing forth with if you haven't got the contribution from the other side. So the next step is then you get lawyers involved and let those two hit it off, because that's the only way you're going to come to some resolution here, because it doesn't look like this AFL investigation's got really it's got no foot to move forward with. That's the way I see it.
The AFL still has not been informed of the identities of the persons/families who have recalled their accounts as part of the Hawthorn Football Club review, or with the journalists who published the accounts. The independent panel will continue to work with the legal representatives each of the parties have retained. This is just Lawyer Central now.
Yeah, correct. And that's where it's going to end up. And that's, I don't know what ends up out of that either.
Clarko will continue to work. Fagan will continue to work. Parties will continue to be aggrieved, but if they cannot be part of the investigation for whatever reason, or choose not to be, then lawyer up and take it to court, because there are other avenues for it. But under our jurisdiction, there is nothing else we can do for you here.
Yeah, and I can see this well and truly going into next year.
Oh, no doubt. But would you have thought at the start, I mean, there were people saying, Clark will never coach again. Fagan will never coach again. That's not going to be the case there.
Yeah, but that initially when you read the one report, then, you've got that thought process you can understand. What you've got to do is always go and get as many witnesses and reports as possible to try and come up with, the full 360 on it. And that's not what I'm hearing here, is that's not going to be able to be done. Not through the AFL anyway.
We saw a piece of artwork too that Amy, the person with the alias of Amy, has put out about sort of the Hawthorn Football Club and depicting sort of her pregnant belly and, the baby, and it's just, there's no winners in any of this, is there?
And that's what I said right from the beginning. I can just see LLL all round. It's unfortunate. And it will go into, I think, well into next year.
So it now goes back to the lawyers for the accusers, and we'll see what plays out from there. Let's give you a sport update. South Australian Redbacks, you were concerned yesterday because New South Wales got away.
They got away, and it was a bit concerning, and then we got a bit of a slow start with the bat, but I'll tell you what, they toughed it out in the end, the Redbacks. Finished, I think, 78 runs behind with a score of 311 to 389, but now they've opened with a bang. Where's Agar, who smashed a very quick 50 when he was playing night watchman? He made 57. He's taken a couple of wickets already, and the New South Welshmen are 3 for 35.
Yeah.
So under the pump at the moment. They're only 113 runs in front. And I'll tell you what, if they can do a little job on this and keep it, say, around 200 in front, they're a chance of winning.
Yes. Go you Redbacks.
Go you Redbacks. We're back on
them. Traditional rivals, Zimbabwe and the Netherlands, just played each other at the Adelaide Oval there, Timmy. The Netherlands just sneaking home by 5 wickets. Zimbabwe out for 117 in reply. Netherlands 5 for 120. Got them in 18 overs. Did that relatively easily.
That's a good win for the Netherlands. I would have thought Zimbabwe would have started favourite in that one.
Bangladesh have won the toss. They have elected to bowl. They will take on India here in Adelaide in a short time, Timmy. And you may have heard them because the Indian fans are up and about.
We're going to destroy them. India jeetega! Bangladesh jeetega! India jeetega!
Sounds like your place after a couple of beers. They are up and about, the Indian supporters.
Yeah, I tell you what, sounds like the celebrations of Gold Trip connections.
Doesn't it just?
They've just won the Melbourne Cup. That was the game hadn't even started. So, yeah, I think they'll be in great voice tonight against the Bangladeshis, who will also be in good voice.
How well do they do it, though, the Indian supporters? They'll come out in numbers, they'll come out in force, so that'll be a great game. We'll keep you up to date with that. Of course, Australia take on Afghanistan on Friday. We have every caller going into the draw. We're about to take some calls. Just quickly, text message us, how'd Tommy Cooper go in that Netherlands win over Zimbabwe this afternoon? Tommy made a nice
Our own
30.
Tommy Cooper.
He made 32 of 29, Tom, which was nice. So well done to the Netherlands getting the win there. Andrew from Craigmore has a horse name for us.
Oh, g'day, Andrew. How are you?
Yeah, g'day, guys. It's not what I rung about. Well, I did ring about the horse names, but just what you were talking about before. The 19th team always plays and wins, and that's the Lawyers.
Yeah.
You know, the team that plays in the grey suits and the shiny shoes.
Yep.
They always win. But the horses are Who Flung Dung and Lawn, so Who Flung Dung over Lawn, and I'm a religious listener to 5AA, and I'm sure Rowie was talking to Terry McAuliffe, is it, the horse caller? And he was talking about Stiffy and how it was poking up here, when he was calling it, how the head was poking up here and there.
Yeah. Thanks, Andrew. Very good. You started off right. And then,
We knew where that was going, Andrew. So
Rowie's sitting at home with no voice going, keep going.
Yeah. He was cheering him on.
Thank you,
Oh,
Andrew.
dear. But yeah, a couple of good ones there. Thank you, Andrew.
Sadly, the Lawyers are going to be the winners out of this. It's a messy situation, but I just can't see this getting resolved anytime soon.
No, it's not so much about getting resolved soon. I just don't know what the end result will be as far as are we going to get some home truths out, and because I'm not sure that we're going to be able to do that if all parties aren't participating.
This one is from Jimmy, who is not happy Jan.
Oh, hello.
Tim, like you, I put $50 on number 22. Flew home for third. $9 for a place.
Yep.
Gamble responsibly. But I didn't put a place.
He didn't put a place.
I put it on the nose.
Oh.
I would have won $1,750.
Oh, wow.
Came home like a train. Not happy, Jan.
Jimmy, you know, the thing about that is, I got a theory, Jimmy. If you got $10 and you got a horse like that, I always do this little theory that I do 7 for the win, 3 for the place. So I'm still making profit.
That's right.
At 3 for the place.
Yeah.
But if it wins, I'll get a little bit more than the old 5 each way. So
See,
that's one to try, Jimmy.
This is your captain sensible. You know, a lot of punters aren't like that. On the nose, more money, and away we go. I did that in cards. If I've got a pair, I'll like swing an ace, and I'll just keep it with me because all of a sudden you're 2 pair.
You never know your luck.
Or you get full house.
Full house.
Gamble responsibly, kids. Don't listen to Uncle Tim here. 16 minutes after 10. More of your calls next.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G.
5AA's Business of the Week, showcasing the iconic South Australian businesses that shape our community.
Reaching toward a cancer-free future is everyone's business, so take a swing at it. Join Cancer Council's Ultimate Golf Challenge, the longest day this December. Help raise much-needed funds for prevention, research and support. Register now and tee off for a cancer-free future at longestday.org.au.
5AA's Business of the Week, Cancer Council, on 1395 Adelaide's 5AA.
Spring racing is in the air, so why not multiply the excitement with a Ladbrokes Same Race Multi? To build a Same Race Multi, head to your chosen race, find the Same Race Multi tab and pick 2 to 4 runners to finish anywhere inside the top 4. Combine multiple runners from the same race to get even greater odds and get the best Same Race Multi coverage with more races than ever before. Spring racing is in the air. Ladbroke it! T's and C's apply. See website for details. Gamble responsibly.
Patience pays off, especially if you've been holding out for a great deal on a new Volkswagen. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen is now receiving truckloads of new Volkswagens. Yes, they're coming. And they're available at amazing prices. Remember Mawson Lakes Volkswagen for servicing too, with next day servicing and free loan cars. Get a great deal on Volkswagen now. Don't dilly-dally, dawdle or delay. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Like shocks shooting through your body.
That's how some people describe their shingles pain. Shingles is caused by the reactivation of the chickenpox virus. While most people recover fully, up to 25% may experience long-term complications.
I had to cancel all my plans and struggled to work.
Up to 1 in 3 people risk developing shingles in their lifetime.
If you're 50 or over, don't let shingles affect your plans.
Talk to your doctor for more information. Individual symptoms may vary. Sponsored by GlaxoSmithKline Australia, Melbourne.
G'day, it's Merv Hughes here. After years of snoring like a train, the missus sent me for a CPAP Direct sleep test. I'm sleeping quiet and waking up refreshed.
To celebrate Mervember, order a CPAP machine this month for your chance to win one of 6 autographed cricket bats signed by Merv Hughes. Go to cpap.com.au for more info.
Find your local store at cpap.com.au.
It's our hottest deal yet at Bridgestone Select. Snag a free Weber-Q worth $589 when you purchase 4 selected Bridgestone Jeweller or Alenza tyres. For tyres and auto service you can count on, head for Bridgestone Select. Conditions apply.
Summer is simply golden at Discovery Parks. Whether you're making memories with friends or spending precious time with family, enjoying quality time together.
Come on, kiddos, let's go for a walk.
And rare time alone.
Finally, the kids are in bed.
Summer is simply golden at Discovery Parks. Discover your perfect summer. Book online at discoveryholidayparks.com.au.
At AFCA, we help you find a fair outcome to problems with your bank, insurer, super fund, or financial firm. If you've made a financial complaint, we can help resolve it. That's what AFCA does. Search AFCA, AFCA today.
Scraped your caravan? Your insurance should cover that. Speak to Walker Crash Repairs and let them fix it.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Well, no Stephen Rowe. It's now day 3 on the sick list, including the weekend as well. So we hope, fingers crossed, he'll be back tomorrow.
I hope he's got a sick certificate.
Yeah, that's right. What do you have to do that over 2 days of work?
I think if it's 2 or more,
Yep.
you got to get a sick certificate.
All right.
Yes.
So we do hope that Seymour is feeling better. Returning very soon. Extended sports show, as you know. Clearly we're here. You're welcome to be a part of it. 8223 0000. Bit more sport to get to, including the Champions League in a second. Christmas, Tim, mustn't be far away because everyone's releasing books.
Ah, there you go.
So Faf du Plessis, the South African
one of the
cricketer.
great sporting names, in my opinion.
Yep, Faf. So
Love it.
Faf's released a new book basically talking about the Sandpaper Gate and South African cricket, which would be worth a read.
Hey, I hope he wasn't just pointing fingers at us.
No, he kind of was. And on the flip side, Tim Payne's
what
released
about him?
a book.
He's got done a couple of times.
There's a few people that are in that camp, I think. Tim Payne's also released a book where he basically said in his book that South Africa were doing the same. They addressed it with the umpires and said, hey, we just saw it on the vision. Footage got lost.
Oh.
Couldn't find it in the
Miracle.
TV truck. So anyway,
It's a miracle.
Tim Payne also talked about the bitterness in cricket. As we know, Tim Payne sacked from his position.
Yeah, well, it was difficult. I wouldn't say I sort of fell out of love with the game. Obviously, I knew I'd done the wrong thing. I just found it really hard to watch, to be honest. Not because I didn't like the game or I was dirty on it or anyone involved in it. It was just, I'd look forward to that home Ashes series, captaining your country for so long, and the Australian team, as it is, when you retire in whether it's good or a bad retirement, it moves on really quickly. So for me to sort of stand there and have to watch it, I found a real challenge, and I think it was a pretty traumatic event sort of in my life, and I think I had a pretty normal reaction. I've been pretty quiet for about 12 months, but really happy now to be coming out the other side of it.
We're hoping to get Tim on the show. It's almost like a cathartic experience for cricketers, I think, and sports stars when things don't go well for them, put it into print.
To do a book?
Yeah, sort of, cleanse, if you like.
Perhaps it is. To get those feelings out and share them is always a good thing, I think, to talk about anything that was perhaps traumatic in your life, because you don't want it to be a trigger and then to spiral into something worse. So, I agree with you.
And then it's kind of a full stop.
Thing.
Apart from the interviews that you do, Tim's doing limited.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Eddie Betts did 2 or 3 and then stopped. That's it. No more book for him. You want to read his story? Pick up the book. So I wonder if Tim would
And
do
that's
the same.
probably what you would call a teaser campaign, isn't
Yes.
it? Where you just make sure that there's enough there to get you curious about the release and then buy the book, which is fair enough. And that's probably what Tim Payne is doing right now. It's an interesting story for mine, Tim Payne, because I'll be honest with you, when he got the job as far as being Australian captain, we all know how that happened. And I was probably of the opinion, I didn't think he was the best keeper for Australia. So all of a sudden, he's not only a bloke that I thought was on the fringe of the Australian side, he's then become captain of the Australian side. So for me, it's one of the great honours to do something like that for your country. That I know he's feeling a bit perhaps down on the game as it finished for him. But it's an incredible opportunity that he was that he was gifted in my eyes.
And did a great job, I think, in hindsight, in a difficult period for
I
Australian
thought he did
cricket.
okay. I actually, there was some things about him I just wasn't a fan of. And he used to banter too much for my liking when he wasn't performing with either bat or glove. And he's, having a crack at Virat Kohli. I mean, I reckon you're out of your depth then, son, and cut it out. Because I think one of the things, you got to be in a really good space as far as your performance goes to start handing out the sledges. In my humble opinion.
Tim, Sam, don't edit that bit of Tim and send it to the publisher when we try and get Tim Payne on the show, because that's probably not going to help our cause a great deal. Hey, before we go, got up early this morning to watch the Champions League. There were so many great games. Barcelona got through, because you've just been to Anfield.
Yeah.
You've been to Crystal Palace.
Yes,
So you've
correct.
seen it.
I've been out and amongst that, and a couple of my mates that were on the tour with us broke off, and they went to Barcelona and actually watched Barcelona play Bayern.
Yeah.
And Bayern absolutely nailed them, 3-0.
So Barcelona got a win this morning, Bayern Munich got a win this morning, but we always like to focus on the EPL teams in the Champions League. Tottenham had to do it tough. They were down just after half-time or at half-time. They got it done, though. They came from behind with the last minute against Marseille.
FIVEAA has been fed by Kane. He has finished it off, and finished it off in style. And Marseille's Champions League hopes have been sunk in their own port, and Spurs are sailing through into the knockout stages.
Yeah, so Harry Kane and the team there, Son.
And that was in extra time.
Amazing.
So very important. Liverpool got up 2-0 over Napoli as well.
Yes, it wasn't impressive, but they got home in the end. So they've lost in the Premier League to the two relegation sides at the moment. So Nottingham Forest, they got done.
I know.
Then they lost to Leeds, and then somehow they just keep winning the Champions League.
Here comes the corner right at the end. Virgil van Dijk rising to meet it, in on the line from Darwin Núñez. And Liverpool have their second goal, or do they? There's a flag up. Changes nothing really, except maybe the size of the smiles on Liverpudlian faces. The goal is given.
That was a great win by Liverpool.
And look, both of them fairly late in the game too. So the thing about it, when I did the tour of Anfield, was the tour guide, they were incredibly confident. And what I loved was they kept on going about the UEFA Champions and saying, you know, we own this competition and we know how to lift when we play it. And that's evidence of it.
It's incredible. They just lose to the worst teams in the Premier League and then knock off. And they had not lost Napoli in this entire campaign so far.
Amazing.
So it was a good win. So tonight, Real Madrid in action against Celtic, Chelsea and Dinamo Zagreb. Juventus take on PSG. Man City also are in action. So Napoli, Liverpool through to the round 16. Porto, Bruges, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Tottenham, Frankfurt, to name but a few. So we'll keep you up to date with all of that. And of course, you can see all of the action and that audio courtesy of our mates at Stan Sports. Stay tuned. We're going to take a short break on the Sports Show. 27 minutes after 6 now.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Hello, I'm Susie L. Ullman. Are you making excuses about your hearing